Hello and welcome to the Irish Life Health Track and Field Socially Distanced Championships for 2020. I'm Carl Dennehy, I'm joined by Ronan Duggan, and we don't just not like each other, we're actually standing apart for hygiene reasons.
Can barely hear you from all the way over here, Carl.
We've got bonanza coming up over the next 2 hours, all track finals, no field action unfortunately this evening, but that means we can divert our full attention onto this Mondo track here in Morton Stadium. Ronan, we've got a phalanx of finals. First, the men's 5k finishes with the men's 1500 and a whole lot of brilliant sprints in between. What are you most looking forward to?
Oh, that men's 1500 later on, I think the last event in the programme. Plenty of action in that. 3 sub-4 minute milers at the front of the field, and young Keane McPhillipson there as well. So plenty of action, as you said. 400 metre hurdles as well. It's going to be a great race. 4 athletes in around that 53 second zone as well, which will be an incredible race.
And whatever about the athletes missing, there's a whole lot of great athletes who are here. Ireland's fastest woman, Phil Healy, among them. She'll be coming up in the women's 100 metre final. We saw her qualify with ease earlier. But behind us, you can probably see in the 4 distance there, the men's 5,000 metre final. And John Travers, the hot favourite to take the title there. They're about to be called to their marks. So with that, we'll shoot back to the track and we'll take our commentary position in the stands. We are back up in our commentary positions. Thank God for that, because that was deeply uncomfortable. And the president of Athletics Ireland bullied me about our piece to camera there.
Well, you did absolutely bottle the end of it there.
I did.
To be fair,
it's embarrassing.
Irish Sports Runners of the year 2019.
It was embarrassing.
In online gaff. No? Writes itself. Men's 5k up very shortly. John Travers, the leading entry in this, but there will be plenty that will argue with that as they get onto the line here. We'll get you the start list.
Absolutely. We are live on Athletics Ireland TV. Are you watching us?
Or are you watching
RTE? We sure
RTE?
hope to. We would fully understand it if you wanted to watch RTE, but
You shouldn't.
you shouldn't. You should watch us. We have 83 people watching at the moment already, and we've just started. We're going to turn that into 883 quite soon.
Absolutely. There's going to be a run on RTE.
Ronan pulling up the start list. We can see that our hot favourite for the title, John Travers, is out front.
Certainly.
But 2 massive threats have followed in his slipstream. Dara McElhinney of Bantry, or UCD as he is now, this collegian, and Ephraim Giddy of Clonliffe, hometown club warrior.
Liam Harris then just in 4th place there from Toker AC as well. Speaking to Robert Heffernan, his coach there outside the stadium, and he reckons he's a dark horse for this one. So the full field here: David Rooney, John Travers, Neil Johnston, Thomas Fitzpatrick, Anthony Mannix, Pat Hennessy, Ephraim Giddy, David Cartier, Liam Harris, Mitchell Byrne, Jared Gallagher, Kevin Moriarty, Peter Arter, Darren McElhinney and Gavin O'Rourke. So already they're motoring 66 seconds through that first 400 metres. So there's no hanging around here from John Travers. Followed by Darren McElhinney there in the yellow of UCD, Ephraim Giddy just behind, and then Liam Harris. So these would be the 4 most likely characters. That's Neil McCartan then just behind him, Mitchell Byrne then, and then we have a whole group of athletes then just behind that group.
Yeah, excellent stuff. Well set up there by Ronan. You've done your research, my friend. And John Travers, in windy conditions, is taking it out hard. Going to come through 600 metres here in about 140, so this is a strong early kind of 14 minute, sub 14 minute pace here being laid down by John Travers. Has he had a chat, perhaps, with someone? Or is he just going to do it all on his own out front?
Well, I spoke to him from a serious social distance of across the road outside Santry earlier on, and asked him, was he definitely going to win this? And he said, I'll try my best. And then I berated him for a while, going, come on, just tell me you're going to win it.
That's no answer.
But yeah, it was a poor answer from John, but it's a great performance thus far. He's absolutely motoring along here. He is one of only 2, you can correct me if I'm wrong, on Ephraim Giddy. Has he broken 14 minutes yet on the track?
Outstanding
I don't believe
stuff.
he has, but John Travers, a 13:28 performer at his best. That was last year. 2019, and Darren McElhenney is a 13:54 performer at his best there. The UCD athlete, the young athlete from the Beara Peninsula, there in second place.
Outstanding stuff. Got a few comments coming in already. Nicola Kavanagh says she's going to stick with us, guys. Francis Mansfield said, not going to abandon us. And Israel Olatunda, the fantastic sprinter, says, better commentary than the Diamond League. Thank you for lying to us and propping up our ego, Israel. And hope it's going well with your training at the moment. But John Travers comes through. That's the kilometre split, 2:47. It's a swift early pace. You won't get loser analysis like this on RTE, lads. That's a low 14-minute pace.
It certainly is. Not a lot of these athletes have hit that. The athlete there in 4th place is Neil McCartan, I think. Just to get that up there for you. He has ran 14:48 this year on the road, and he's also a 3:50 1500 metre performer at his best. So he'll be well capable of handling this early pace. But as we know in the 5k, the pace only really starts with 2k to go. Mitchell Byrne there from Rathfarnham just behind him. Also a very strong performer in the green there of Rathfarnham. And Liam Harris, who we'd pointed out before the race as being a possible contender, looks to have left this pace go off at the front. But Travers is absolutely pouring it on here at the front.
He really is. 2:47 for the first kilometre. It's 13:55 pace for 5k. He is steaming through these first 3 laps. But he's got company. Ephraim Giddy and Darragh McElhenney are going nowhere here, stalking his slipstream, and a fine gap. These are the 3 men we expected to come home in the medal positions, and right now, well, it's surprising stuff from John Travers. In this wind, he is going to win this the very hard way. And in 2 young athletes just coming out of the junior category last year, 2 medal-winning under-20 athletes. Darragh McElhenney won bronze at the European Under-20 Championships last year, and Ephraim Giddy won bronze at the European Under-20 Cross-Country Championships in Lisbon, behind a certain Jakob Ingebrigtsen, who was running quite well over in Stockholm there earlier on today.
Sorry, my apologies. That's Neil Johnston there, actually, of Annandale Striders in 4th place, not Neil McCartan, the North Down athlete, who's in the 1500 metres later on. But he is also a sub-15-minute performer at his best. Mitchell Byrne there, still in 5th. But these 3, like hot knife through butter, they've cut away from this field, and they are flying away here at the front. Travers is absolutely looking glorious here. He's so smooth. All 3 athletes are real proponents of distance running here in Morton Stadium.
Yeah, John Travers, he really is one of the most fluid runners you'll ever see. Like, you can see he's almost like a dressage horse there. He's just up on his toes with every stride. He really does pick his feet off the ground. And he really is poetry in motion when he runs. Darragh McElhenney, slightly different style. In second, he's very compact, slight forward, lean. But he covers ground hugely effectively and absolutely no wasted energy. Ephraim Giddy in third then is just elegant. Probably the longest striding of all 3. And if anyone runs around Century Domain at any time of the week here in North Dublin, you will see Ephraim Giddy out logging the miles, trains locally. And he's obviously came to Ireland several years ago now and is fully embedded himself as part of our country and represented us with such pride at those European cross-country championships before Christmas, winning a medal. It'll be the first of many international singlets appearances for Ephraim Giddy. And he was quite emotional that day, Ephraim Giddy. He broke down in tears, and you could just see how much it meant to him to run for his adopted nation. Ephraim Giddy, he really is a model as an athlete and indeed as a person. John Travers out front, new father, super dad, we could call him. He told me about this time last year he actually developed a lower back injury from picking up his baby and trying to rock it to sleep. So these are the things Darragh McElhenney and Ephraim Giddy don't have to deal with at this point in their lives, but John Travers, the elder statesman out front, you might call him, even though he's not remotely old. He's got a baba to go back to.
He certainly does, but those 2 athletes just behind him, well, they might not know the small hardships of those issues. They have plenty to work through themselves, and training for this distance is tough in itself. That 4th place athlete there as well is Neil Johnston. He's ran 8:11 and 3:48 this year, only in the last couple of weeks, 2 personal bests. So if either of these athletes in the top 3, if any of them start to struggle off this hot pace from John Travers, then we may see Neil Johnston. He may be the one that gets up and tries to pick off the any issues that are in that top 3. But it is still Travers, McElhenney and Ephraim Giddy. It looks almost like a training session here, these 3 running in single file. John Travers acting as the pacemaker here for this front 3.
It's a very interesting strategy he's adopted, obviously coached by Jerry Kiernan, and you know, he's won national titles before at 1500 and 5k, John Travers, by waiting, indoors at 3k by waiting, and he has a tremendous kick finish. But did he just decide that his fitness is good enough this year that he can run the legs off Darragh McElhenney and Ephraim Giddy, or is this him a run of fear rather than confidence from John Travers, and that he's afraid of the kick of Darragh McElhinney. Darragh McElhinney has an outstanding range of gears, and when the wheels start turning, he can go with the best of them, even though he is obviously very young, as is Ephraim Giddy. But we'll soon find out, really, and perhaps talking to them afterwards we'll find out a little more. But it's a new strategy from John Travers. Too early to say yet whether it's paid off or not.
Yeah, and certainly I know Darragh McElhinney is a European Junior bronze medalist, 8:06 indoors this year as well. So he's obviously in good form this year, the second place athlete there from UCD. But John Travers is as you said, multiple national champion and a sub-4 minute miler as well, which neither of the two behind them are. So while he may be afraid of the wheels of McElhinney and Giddy, he has wheels himself, and I'd be shocked if that was the way he was looking at it. He does have the wheels over that last 300 metres. Maybe not getting on the track as often this year, so may feel I could be quite fit. And he was saying to us yesterday that he was training in a hilly hilly forest during lockdown and doing lots of 100-mile weeks, so maybe feeling that he's plenty fit, but maybe not that fast.
Absolutely. They passed 3K in 8:21. That's again that 2:47 kilometre. It's been like clockwork from John Travers. 13:55 pace we're on for 5K here as we come up to the 2/3 marker, and they're only going to pick it up from here. So we're seeing a very, very quick Irish national senior 5,000 metre final here. It's definitely going to be below 14 minutes unless they start jogging and looking at each other in a kind of Tour de France type tactics. But you just wonder with John Travers, what he's done so far has done nothing to break the composure and the class of Ephraim Giddy and Darragh McElhinney. Maybe once or twice it seemed like Ephraim Giddy might be drifting a couple of metres back, but any time that's happened, he's just reattached that cord, so to speak, into the back of Darragh McElhinney's shoulders, and he's, like you see, probably 1.5 metres between them right now, and this has to be taking a toll. Every time John Travers hits that point of the turn, the next 100 metres are a bit of a slog. The wind hits him right in the face. All day in the sprints we've seen 3 to 4 to even 5 metres per second headwinds up that home straight, so it's really going to be sapping the strength of John Travers. He's going to have to be a lot better than either of these two athletes in his slipstream if he's going to win this title today, but maybe he is. 4 laps to run for John Travers.
Yeah, he is the quickest in the field by quite some distance, around 20 seconds. However, as you said, he is leading into this wind, and it starting to look like he's not moving as smoothly as before. But once you go beyond 3K in the 5K on the track, that's when we really start getting into the tough part of this race. It really only really starts after 3K. So that 8:21 through the 3K would have put a lot of lead in the legs of the men behind him, but he may have also put lead in his own. But still moving quite nicely. No major change in that top 3, and the rest of the field absolutely strung up behind them. Johnston in 4th, Mitchell Byrne in 5th, Liam Harris in 6th, and then all the way back to the battle of the tall men, Kevin Moriarty, Thomas Fitzpatrick, and then David Rooney there in 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th, and 8th. So the field is hugely strung out here.
Yeah, it's all to play for here. There's going to be 3 laps to run here, 1,300 metres at the moment, and John Travers, he still has not made a dent, and the question is, how many more gears does he have left to change over these final 3 laps? He doesn't look like he's really pushing the pace. It doesn't seem to be an attempt to break the 2 men in behind him, and Darragh McElhinney, I think, of the 3 in behind, looks by far the most composed at the moment. He's almost tripping over himself there not to run into the back of John Travers. Probably inevitable that happens to an extent, given they're running into a strong headwind, and every time he does that, Darragh McElhinney is making a huge energy saving, as indeed is Ephraim Giddy, the way they're drafting behind John Travers. And will that pay off in another 800 metres time? Because in 2 laps time they will be kicking for glory.
They certainly will, and Giddy looks like he's almost losing, maybe you're talking about imperceptible inches there that he's losing maybe on McElhinney, but McElhinney is looking, with every passing lap, looks like he's in better and better shape here. He's going up right on the inside shoulder there of John Travers, who's gone wide down the straight to try and stop any attempt to go around him, but it is still Travers and McElhinney, and it looks like there's a gap starting to grow to Ephraim Giddy there. It's only a metre and a half at max at this moment in time, but as we go around the back markers here in this field, that could play havoc here with these athletes over this last couple of laps.
It's going to be a barnstorming last 2 laps here, and thank you for joining us here on the live stream, because we may suitably be losing our collective minds here. And is Ephraim Giddy finally starting to crack? The first sign of effect of what John Travers has done to this field finally shows on the face of Ephraim Giddy. He loses about 7 or 8 metres. They're 11.52, 11.53 as they come through with 2 laps to run. It's going to be in and around 14 flat. They'll probably kick it home with a 60-second last lap. And Darragh McElhinney looks so composed in behind John Travers. Like we said, is this today the 19-year-old from Glengariff in County Cork comes of age here in the colours of Bantry AC? Can he topple John Travers, who for so long has been the king of this domain?
Yeah, McElhenney is stuck to him like a limpet there onto his back, on the back straight here. He's no more than half a yard from him. The man from Glengariff is, with 600 metres left to run, just sitting behind John Travers there, living in Sligo at the moment, Dublin born and raised, and coming around now at 500 metres left to run. Will it be a first national title for Darragh McElhenney at senior level, or will it be the elder statesman John Travers getting up for yet another win here in the Sanchez Stadium?
And they're having to go wide now. This will make it all the more intriguing. If you use this correctly, it can be played to your advantage as you whip round athletes and cut in. Maybe you can just put a little bit of a metre gap between you. But as it's been from the outset, John Travers went to the front with 1 lap to run and 12:58 on the clock. This is probably going to be a sub-14. John Travers goes for home.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the fastest times I've ever seen here at the National Championships over 5K, and one of the Leave athletes just moving out there and costing maybe a couple of yards there to these athletes. But John Travers is storming down the back straight. He's starting to stride out now. McElhenney's still stuck to him, stuck to his back. 250 metres left to run. It'll be Travers or McElhenney.
There's 10 years between them in age, and there's less than a metre between them on the track. Travers with the cardinal sin there, lets the door open on the inside. What is he doing? McElhenney sneaks into it. Is this the move? Is that the defining move of this race? Travers maybe wanting to draft up the home straight in behind McElhenney, but McElhenney goes for broke on the bend. He's got 3 metres, 4 metres, 5 metres. The brilliant Darragh McElhenney of Bantry is going for home. The 19-year-old. Does John Travers have 1 run left? McElhenney into the wind, fighting for his life, fighting for the national title. 19-year-old teenage kicks to glory. Darragh McElhenney takes the title. John Travers with an excellent run in second. And there's a yawning gap back to Ephraim Giddy, who's going to come in third for Clonlift. But Darragh McElhenney, what a run. Wisdom beyond his years and speed of a high-powered sports car to close that out. It was well below a sub-60-second last lap. Outstanding run from Darragh McElhenney. The performance of the year from the 19-year-old Bantry man. Yeah,
13:56 as well, only 2 seconds off his personal best set last year. So an incredible performance from Darragh McElhenney to get the win on that one at only 19 years of age. John Travers second, and Ephraim Goody third. Looks like Neil Johnson got up for... No, Liam Harris, in fact, got up for 4th place there. 5th, Mitchell Byrne, and Neil Johnson of Annandale Striders get up for 6th place.
What a race. Blown away. I don't think it affected, but it certainly didn't help John Travers' cause to open the door there for Darragh McElhenney on the with 200 to run. It was a puzzling move. Perhaps maybe just got sick of leading Darragh McElhenney around into that wind and maybe wanted him to take over and thought he could come around the top again. Maybe he was overthinking it, or maybe just as athletes tend to fatigue, they move wide. Maybe that was all he did and he couldn't even see it. But it was a puzzling move from John Travers to open the door for the 19-year-old. And boy, did he take advantage. Brilliant win by Darragh McElhenney.
Yeah, very strange, and but hopefully we'll see John.
Yeah, brilliant turn of pace by Darragh McElhenney.
Yeah, brilliant finish from the man.
Our colleagues
from
at RTE certainly thinks it might have been deliberate, but
it certainly looked deliberate, but a strange option that late in the race.
So Darragh McElhenney is down chatting to RTE. I'll hand over to Ger briefly and try and grab a chat with our young champion, and Ger will helpfully take us through the sprints.
Thanks, Cathal. Yeah, there was some performance there running from the young man from Darragh McElhenney there, 13:56, 58 second last lap, and as you said, 200 metres to go, 2:20 to go. He sniffed that gap open and just took it with both hands. I think John Travers thought he might have enough to come back at him with 100 to go there, but you can see McElhenney sidestepping at 100 to go by some of the athletes that they were lapping, and it took absolutely nothing out of him to come home to that victory, celebrating with 10 metres to go, as he justly should do, the young champion.
Yeah, he had more than enough left there to deal with anything. I think getting that opportunity to go through that gap and then making those yards. I know maybe Travers might have been thinking that he's going to have to run into the wind down that last 100 metres, but I suppose John had run into that wind for 11 and a half laps at that stage, or 12 laps. In that case, not working out well there for John Travers, but a good win for McElhenney, 19 years of age, national senior 5,000 metre champion, to go with his bronze at the European Juniors last year.
Surely should move up, Ronan.
He should probably move up to the 10k.
Marathon?
Marathon, perhaps. No, he certainly is a track specialist, Darragh McElhenney, with that kick and that turn of speed in the end. I'd say he would be better off moving down, even, you might say, to 3,000 metres.
He's a man full of talent with options in front of him anyway, and the world is his oyster at the minute. He's the national senior champion here at the Irish Life Health National Championships in Morton Stadium for 2020. Possibly back next weekend. I'm not sure, is he Dublin doing a 10k? I doubt for on the track.
I don't think so.
I'd imagine 5,000 is enough in spikes at that young age. Like you said, it's not a distance race very often for young athletes, but Darren McElhinney is an athlete beyond his years and wise both on and off the track, and certainly has the talent to prove it too. So fantastic champion, the UCD AC man, goes home with the gold medal. John Travers in second and Ephraim Giddy with the bronze.
Absolutely, we should have the full results from that up shortly, and I know we've got some sprints action coming your way now very shortly with the 400 metre hurdles, but we do have the results. Darren McElhinney 13.56, John Travers 13.57, Ephraim Giddy under 23, Darren McElhinney by the way also under 23 champion, Ephraim Giddy under 23 second place, and third place overall 14.17, Liam Harris 14.37, Mitchell Byrne 14.41, and Neil Johnston rounding out that top six with 14.46. Kevin Moriarty, David Rooney, Tomas Fitzpatrick, Anthony Mannix, Pat Hennessy, Peter Arter, Jared Gallagher and Gavin O'Rourke the next numbers, and then David Carter, the third place under 23 athlete for Galway City Harriers with 15.38.
Nice one, Dougie.
Nice one, Jared. Thanks, kid. And also we have the
the 400 metre hurdles coming up next. Ronan, the women's to start the proceedings here. Hurdles has been laid out on track by the officials. Of course, the officials are working, doing Trojan work here this weekend. They have to sanitise all the hurdles before and after each session and after each race. So they're just making sure all of that is taken care of before they get them out on track. But yeah, it's going to be the women up first. We had the men first yesterday, 2 heats in both, which they always say is it's any hurdles event, it's always great to get heats going, because we often have really great quality at the top end of the hurdles events, especially when you have Thomas Barr here. But when it comes to the depth and when the younger athletes are moving up from the different heights and different distances, can just take a couple of years for the numbers to fill out below the top brass. So it's good that we're getting heats here on such a fluctuating year in terms of circumstances.
Yeah, certainly you see that even more often in the 110 hurdles, which obviously is quite a terrifying event, as you know well, Ger, if you're not used to it coming up from the junior ranks. The 400 metre hurdles is a little bit easier to get into for these athletes, but still a higher height, and they don't call it the man killer for no reason. It's a tough event, as they all are, to be fair. Yeah, so there's still a good few people tuning into our stream here, and of course we're delighted to have you all here. Make sure to send your link around to anyone that may not be able to tune in the usual channels. Send on the Athletics Ireland TV YouTube channel to them. And you can stick with us here till around 8 o'clock this evening for all those finals. 4 hurdles are up next, then 100 metres, 4 flats and 1500. So it's going to be a real action-packed evening here in Morton Stadium. The sun is out. The wind is still blowing a gale down that back straight, but hopefully it'll have calmed down, especially for those 100 metre sprinters later on this evening. But they battled it well in the heats earlier on, and it didn't throw up too many surprises. So let's see who can battle for that victory in one of the blue ribbon events this evening, like the 1500. Yeah, it's an exciting evening, and as you know, you can click back on the other streams as well and watch some of the earlier footage from today, and in fact every day of the Irish Life Health National Senior Championships here, held at Morton Stadium Santry. We will also be cutting to the medal ceremony here for the men's 5k momentarily, but Mr. McElhinney is still getting his interview here on RTE. You can also watch back as this session live, so as we're going live here, you can click back immediately after the race to watch the replay as it goes. But we'll get some replays of short sprints maybe later on, but for the other events you can still click back on the stream and watch back to what we've covered already in this evening session, and then click the live button down the bottom, or just drag the scroller back to the end, and you'll be back up to speed with what's happening in stadium at present. Just to run through that 400 metre hurdles line up there as they set their blocks. We've got Kiva Mackey of Denora Harriers, Quiva Rowe of Trim AC, Katie Walsh, Carrick Navarre. She's down as a DNS, so I'll just check, is there anyone there? Doesn't look like for that. Niamh Malone, Monaghan Phoenix goes in 4, Nessa Mie of St Albans goes in 5, Deirdre Murray in 6 of Nafina, Laura Frey of Lagan Valley goes in 7, and Karen Dunn in lane 8 for Bohermeen AC. We've 4 under 23s in this race as well, so whatever way they finish, that will be the under 23 championships decided as well. So there's double prizes on offer for 4 or half of the athletes in this race. Yeah, and really strong field there. I suppose you're looking at the lanes 3, 4, 5, and 6. Kitty Walsh, Neil Malone, Nessa Mie, and Deirdre Murray there, being the most likely, obviously, with Katie Walsh DNS, but Nessa Mie and Deirdre Murray likely to be battling this one out. We'll show you on screen their singlets in case you have an issue with which singlet or which is a common mistake. Also, for all who thought Phelim Kelly was on the live stream earlier on, he was the one making all the errors with the singlets.
Any mistake that was ever made was Phelim.
Yeah,
Certainly not Ronan.
Yeah. So we have a medal ceremony here for the men's 5K. 223 athletes in this one as well. So I've been third place. It's going to be Ephraim Giddy from Clonagh Harriers, the home club. Second place then, after that we'll see, is going to be John Travers. But third here, Ephraim Giddy from Clonagh Harriers. Said the medal ceremony is some assembly required for this. John Travers, the Denore Harrier athlete, getting second place here. And in first place, the 19-year-old running 13:56, just off his own personal best, all the way from Glengariff, all the way from the Beara Peninsula, up for the win in the 5,000 metres.
He said it was the race of his life, and it was. Well done, Darren McElhinney. Coached these days by Emmett Dunleavy over at UCD. Formerly David McCarthy and Stephen Macklin were guiding his career. Well done.
Yeah. And difficult dismount there as well for some of those athletes who may not be used to that. We saw Michelle Finn kind of falling off the podium yesterday.
Acrobatics yesterday. That'll be on session 2 of the live stream if you want to look back at that.
Yeah. 2 hours, 25 minutes and 41 seconds in. As I went back
Roughly.
and looked at it last night. And then
Roughly.
laughed.
So the athletes are behind their blocks for this women's 400 metre hurdles final.
They certainly are.
7 athletes in. Lane 3 is MT Katie Walsh. Unfortunately, is a DNS. You're not in it, you can't win it. But there's certainly 7 others who are going to be vying hard for this title. Quiva Mackey of the Denore Harriers is in lane 1. Outside her, Quiva Rowe of Trim AC. Katie Walsh absent in 3. Lane 4, Niamh Malone, Monaghan Phoenix AC in 5. Nessa Mie, the fastest woman on paper in Ireland in the last 3 or 4 years. 57.29 at her best. 60 flat here yesterday. Around a second quicker than anyone in this field this year. Deirdre Murray outside her is the next fastest on paper. She's sub 60 seconds at her best, 59.88. 62 seconds to win her heat yesterday ahead of Niamh Malone and Karen Dunn. Outside her is Laura Frey of Lagan Valley AC, 64 seconds this year. And Karen Dunn on the outside there, just behind Deirdre Murray and Niamh Malone yesterday in that heat. So, Mie in 5, the winner of Heat 1. If she can run her own smooth, clean race, she could be unchallenged here. But Deirdre Murray certainly going to have something to say about that if she's in PB shape. As is Niamh Malone, who ran a PB a couple of weeks ago in Belfast of 61.2. But she's going to have her work cut out for her from Karen Dunn and the others. It's a 400 metre hurdles race. Anything can happen. There's 10 opportunities for people to mess up and 10 opportunities for others to gain.
Yeah, lanes 5 and 6 though, the main ones to watch here. The white singlet with the green stripe along the middle, green and yellow stripe, and the light green singlet in lane 6. 2 main athletes to watch in this race.
Karen Dunn on the outside in lane 8 just has to run her own race and she could be winning a medal. She can keep it clean, let the others focus on themselves. And we are away cleanly first time. The women's 400 metre hurdles here at the Irish Life Health National Senior Championships. And Nessa Mie has gone out hard. She's up on Murray already. She's the first to ride. Karen Dunn on the inside, just been left a little bit, running her own lane. She went out slowly yesterday too. What will she do here down the back straight? Murray trying to stick with Mie. Mie is well clear. 5 metres at this stage. Karen Dunn looks to be second to rise. Laura Frey in lane 7 going quite well as well. And looks like Murray third and Dunn in second at this stage. But it is Nessa Mie through 200 and she is absolutely flying. Niamh Malone there on the inside, the green and white stripe of Monaghan Phoenix, trying to get up there for second place at the minute. But Nessa Mie is streaking away. She's got 30 metres on the field here now. We come through the 7th hurdle, up towards the 8th, the 300 metre mark, 285. She clears it cleanly. 2 hurdles to negotiate. What's going to be on the clock? That's all she has to beat after these 2 hurdles. But Deirdre Murray is battling with Niamh Malone in second place at the minute. They're going to come up to this last hurdle neck and neck, and Malone goes over it. And Karen Dunn is not finished yet. Nessa Mie negotiates the last hurdle. She's coming down the home stretch. She's going to win it. but it's all to play for the minor medals here. And Nessa Mee is going to take the title. Karen Dunn with a storming run on the outside. She's going to get the silver from Niamh Malone, and Deirdre Murray takes fourth, 59.54 on the clock, and Nessa Mee takes that title back to St Albans AC.
Yeah, an impressive run there from Nessa Mee. At no point during that race did she look under threat for the win. Absolutely stormed out of the blocks and was up on the other athletes, even by the first hurdle. Yeah,
as I said, yesterday she's run 55.01 just this week, back on Monday, for a PB on the flat. We're going to get a quick look at the replay there, but if she could use her flat speed, and she's obviously a fantastic hurdler to run 57 seconds for this race. So the last 100 metres here, you can see going over hurdle 9, and she has a bit of a nightmare on that one, but keeps her momentum going forward, avoids twisting too much, and gets up to the last one, negotiates that clearly. You can see she's really suffering at this stage, but she is away and home and dry. And Karen Dunn on the outside, what a fantastic run from her. From our angle here, it looks like she's certainly got the silver medal. Results will be updated on the live results link, live.athleticsIreland.ie. But Karen Dunn, as I said, if she sticks to her own race plan out there in lane 8, she's going to get a medal, and she did that, certainly, and fantastic championship performance there from her.
Yeah, and that under 23 category as well, to look at Niamh Malone with the win in that one, and Deirdre Murray then in second place there, with Katie Walsh in third. Sorry, Katie Walsh did not start, so it's Caoimhe Mackey was the third placer there under 23. So results are up 59.52 for Nessa Mee. Karen Dunn 61 seconds 42, Niamh Malone 61 seconds 55, and Deirdre Murray then in fourth with 62.16. Ran out of it there over the last couple of hurdles.
Yeah, Niamh Malone and Karen Dunn really pulling out the performances of their life there to get up for the medals there in that race. But Nessa Mee was the champion performer there, just did her own thing the whole way around until she got to that hurdle 9, had a bit of a hiccup, but didn't stop her. She had enough made up on the rest of the field at that stage, and was able to storm home with that good strength that she has, and take the title here in style, sub 60 seconds.
Yeah, and we managed to pop home there at the lunch break part of the day, and watch Carson Warholm run the second fastest 400 metre hurdles time of all time, and in a very impressive run. So plenty of good 400 metre hurdles action today.
Yeah, he also popped back then an hour later and won the 4 flat in 45.01, I think it was, or 45.1.
Low 45 anyway.
Yeah, anyway, he stormed away from the field in the last 100 metres anyway. A classy field of men who've run sub 45 seconds in the past, so he's alright. He's not bad.
He's got a good run, that lad.
You'd have to wonder why he's not here though. Not up to it.
At the National Senior Championship incorporating the Under 23 Championship.
Not up to it. Not up to it.
No, apparently not.
Not long out of the under 23 category himself, but the hurdles have been put up now for the men's race, and it's going to be another absolute cracker, much like that women's race. We don't know where the medals are going to go.
No, there's certainly 4 men here that are in around a similar standard. Matthew Bean, Cathal Lock, Jason Harvey, and John Fagan. Cathal Lock is still under 23 as well, and Oisin McCrory, who's in this final as well, is also under 23. So to give you the full lineup, we'll give you in a while when they arrive out to the track here. We're still waiting for hurdle heights to be changed, so certainly a fantastic field though. Matthew Bean, normally 110 metre hurdler, a rival of yours, Ger, over that distance, and he stepped up here to the 400 metre hurdles.
Yeah, Matthew's won the 60 metre hurdles title indoors twice back in 2019 and 2018. You know, he competed at the European under 23s. He was at the World University Games last year for the sprint hurdles as well, so a transition now up to the long hurdles must be over lockdown or over the winter. And yesterday he certainly looked very composed. He got himself around and nearly snuck the win on Jason Harvey in that second heat. So he's put the cat amongst the pigeons here. There's definitely 4 men who are going to be really battling it out. 4 men who've run 53 seconds this year so far. Jason Harvey, of course, is 50.13 at his very, very best, but not quite there at the minute. But he'll be hoping that he can show us what we know in this final here and tell us that he's been in that shape all along, keeping his powder dry. He cruised around for the win yesterday. He got upset by John Fagan and Cathal Lock up in Belfast about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago at this stage, and Lock took that one with the fastest time by an Irishman so far this year, 53.15. He's a 52.50 man at his best, so if he can pull that out today, and I think it's going to take a sub 53 clock and even in this wind to get that title, but certainly there's as I said in the previous, there's 10 hurdles to negotiate, and anything can go wrong from hurdle 1 to hurdle 10.
Yeah, it's probably one of the few races like normally in the National Senior Championships here we can point out that, you know, there's 2 or 3 really big guns that are going to be likely to be amongst the medals, or normally you have someone like Fionnuala Britton or a Ciara McGean or a Mark English who can say stonewall that they are going to win the race. But this race, any of those 4 men could be 4th out of these 4.
Potentially, yeah. Somebody could be going home with a medal who thought they'd be possibly due a gold. And like the lads in behind there's no guarantee that all 4 or all 3 will perform to their best. So there's a sneaky medal up for grabs, possibly for Oisin McCorry, Paul Sexton, and the other lads in this race. You never know. You have to keep running all the way to the last hurdle and all the way to the line. It's the one event where catastrophe can take place for, if not one, more than that. No more than a 110 hurdles final in the major championships. It tends to not happen too often in the semi-final. Actually, the semi-finals can be quite chaotic in the championships because everyone wants to get to the final, and then once
Get a good lane draw, yeah.
Who knows what's happened? But yeah, certainly with the hurdles gone up to 3 foot now, 10 barriers to negotiate for our 8 men in the final. It's going to be a very, very interesting 50 mid-seconds or so.
Yeah, you have someone like Owen Sharkey there from Tyrconnell as well. Is a 58-second man at his best, but there's no reason why he couldn't pop out a big run today. A lot of these athletes as well, in terms of season's bests, might have only had 1 run to their name so far this season, so very hard to tell what kind of shape a lot of these athletes are in, and a lot of athletes have had a lot of time in their hands as well that maybe may not normally have had that time to train or to put that kind of work in. So plenty of upsets to come over the next couple of hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Conor Hanrahan, I think, is absent from this one, so we're down to 7 men, much like we were for the women's race. It's going to be from lane 1 out to 8. We'll have Owen Sharkey, Oisin McCorry, Matthew Bean, Cathal Locke, Jason Harvey, Paul Sexton and John Fagan. So Fagan, one of the contenders out there in lane 8, as we spoke about him yesterday. He was, if anybody was tuning into RTE back in February, was it, Ronan, or January, February? Ultimate Hell Week was a show on RTE which John competed in and actually ended up completing the course, which is the course for the Army Ranger wing
Special
unit.
Forces, yeah.
Special Forces, basically. If you ever watch SAS Who Dares Wins, the English version of the show, it's the same thing basically, where they get basically sleep deprived and tortured and tear gassed and physically and mentally battered for 8 days straight, and John completed the whole course. So he has been well looked after by his partner Kate down there in Bray in the last while during lockdown. He's been able to have an opportunity to get himself back on the track only in the last 4 or 5 months, get some training back in. 8 years since he last ran a 400 metre hurdles race, and he's back here in a national final. Took a bronze in 2010. 10 years later, can he repeat that or go one better or two?
And when you saw the likes of Courage Farugi coming back earlier on in the high jump, an athlete who has been away from the high jump pretty much for most of this decade, we would say, and coming back and getting a silver medal. So it is a championships for some of the old guns who may have retired or been retired over the last 10 years to come back and give these championships a rattle here at the National Senior Championships here in Santry. So we have a medal presentation as well coming up very shortly. The President of Athletics Ireland, Georgina Drum, there dishing out the medals. They're already placed on the rostrum. So 3rd place there was Niamh Malone. 2nd place Karen Dunn, and 1st was Nessa Millet.
Yeah, really looking forward to this. I think much like a lot of races we have this evening, wide open this men's 400 metre hurdles final, even if I'm sure Jason Harvey and 1 or 2 of the others are confident it's going to be them on the top step of that rostrum that Nessa Millet is about to inhabit. But I would be shocked if there's much between the leading 4 over this last hurdle. And into this wind, it may well come down to something as tiny as who navigates that last hurdle best. We saw Karsten Warholm run out of this world despite making a semi-mess of the last hurdle earlier, and Nessa Millet was she was just saying how much havoc it played with her stride pattern there. She was going down the back straight, and she said running the heats here helped a lot. Basically the same conditions yesterday for those heats. So we'll know how to adjust, but there'll be nothing in this. It'll be a heck of a last 50 metres. Yeah,
Nessa Millet retaining her title from last year here at the Irish Life Health National Championships, and as we were saying, that was her first race over the sticks this season yesterday, so certainly happy to get a race under her belt and adjust to whatever the conditions we're going to throw and work out stride patterns and so on.
Yeah, we're seeing the athletes here from the women's 400 meter hurdles unpacking their present, which turns out to be, shockingly enough, a medal. A bronze medal here from Niamh Malone from Monaghan Phoenix. Getting applause here from the officials in the stadium and a random passersby. Second place, Karen Dunn. She's looking around, wanted to get that recycling plastic away. Get second place there for Karen Dunn. And the winner, Nessa Mie from St. Albans, retaining her title.
Yeah, fantastic running from all three girls here. I think Karen Dunn in particular last year made a big breakthrough at this event. I think she was focusing more on multi-events before that, and you can see it's done her no harm, that switch up, and here she goes away with a silver medal from the National Championships, so I'm sure she'd be absolutely delighted. She was, I think, third in her heat yesterday behind Deirdre Murray and Niamh Malone, but it's a silver medal hanging around her neck here, and she did everything she could do to deserve it.
Yeah, so we're just getting onto the line here for the 400 meter hurdles for men. National record 47.97 by Thomas Barr, championship record 49.56. Unlikely that will be touched today. In fact, I'd say no chance. However, it will be one of the best races we've seen here at the National Championships for men of almost, you could throw a blanket over the four in terms of seasonal bests.
Yeah, so it's Lockwood 53.15, Fagan 53.60, himself and Harvey are in around the 53 maids, and then Behan a 53.8 yesterday in the heats. So it's all up for grabs. Fagan's PB 52.28, Lock 52.50, Harvey 50.13, and Behan, that was a PB for him yesterday. Then you've got Oisin McCorry and Paul Sexton are 55 second men. As you said, Owen Sharkey 58 so far this year. But like you said, wouldn't have much chance to get races under his belt. It's just unfortunate he's been left at lane 1 when there is a lane empty out in 3. No Conor Hanrahan, in 2. So he has a gap between himself and Oisin McCorry. So he may be running on his own for a lot of this race, as may John Fagan out in lane 8. He's going to have peace and quiet out there, especially down that back straight. When the wind is on his back, he'll be hearing nothing but his own footsteps, and that could be a good thing for him to just kind of keep his composure. But the three lads in the middle lanes, 4, 5 and 6, I'd imagine it's going to be fairly chaotic between the three of those. It's very hard to not end up looking at each other through peripheral vision, and if you catch someone's elbow in your rear view mirror, then it can just be enough to put you off your stride pattern. But it'll be interesting to see if there's any changes in stride patterns from yesterday. Behan went 15 strides the whole way, and if you watch back the video, you can see it was quite restricting for him, so it was kind of chopping down to ensure he stayed on his preferred left leg the whole way through. He's probably going to have to switch to 14s if he wants to go faster here today, because otherwise he's going to lose all that momentum again. But let's see how he is on his right and weaker leg. Harvey looked quite composed the whole way home yesterday, but is there any more in the tank today? And likewise for Cathal Lock, he was able to jog around in 57 seconds, a veritable jog for him when he can go 5 seconds quicker at his best. Yeah, here we go, into our blocks, the Irish Life Health Senior Under 23 400 metre hurdles final for men. Owen Sharkey, Oisin McCorry, Matthew Behan, Cathal Lock, Jason Harvey, Paul Sexton and John Fagan.
Yeah, it's an incredibly tight race here, and it will come down to those fine margins.
Starter's assistant just ensuring fingers are behind the lines. The wind is still blowing hard. It's going to be on their backs down that first bend. Possibly a bit of a help down the back straight. But once they come around with 2 hurdles to go, it's going to be windy, and we are away. John Fagan on the outside has gone out hard. Paul Sexton trying to stick with him, and Cathal Lock is moving well so far. Behan looks to be the first to rise there, that left leg lead, and Lock has just been left a little bit by Harvey at the minute. Behan going very well down that back straight, still on that left leg, 15 stride. He chops again down to 15. Fagan going well out in 8, and Harvey is motoring down the back straight. Himself and Behan, the 2 clubmates from Crusaders AC, are away at the minute. What can Cathal Lock do here? He goes through 204th place, possibly just up to 3rd with John Fagan. Has he kept his powder dry for the home straight when that wind kicks in? But it looks like Behan has the lead at the minute. He's going to be first to ride. He's a bad chop there. There's 4 men still in this. John Fagan on the outside has a bit of work to do. He's coming up on Jason Harvey now. There's some hurdles falling. Lock and Fagan hit a hurdle. Behan is in the lead. What's it going to do over these last 2 hurdles? It's all still to play for. Behan is 2 metres. Can he hold on? Cathal Lock is coming hard, and John Fagan too. He hits a hurdle very badly and he's out of it. Jason Harvey comes up for 3rd, and it's going to be Matthew B, and he chases and celebrates across the line. Cathal Lock 2nd place and Jason Harvey 3rd, 52.49, and that is the fastest time by an Irishman this year. Brilliant run there from Matthew B and Crusaders AC, and unfortunately for John Fagan and Jason Harvey, the last hurdle did them in.
Yeah, an incredible race there, and the outsider Matthew Behan coming up from the 110 hurdles. and using that technical ability, flying around. Had an issue there maybe on hurdle 8, but other than that, a very clean run the whole way around. Jason Harvey in third, Catalock in second, and John Fagan hitting that last hurdle and ending up in fourth there. But what an impressive race, an impressive performance from those 4 athletes.
Yeah, 52.49 on the clock, so Catalock left himself a little bit too much to do with 200 to go, but when the time shows up faster than your PB, there's not really much more that you can do than that. You would have needed the race of his life to win that one, but certainly got messy with 120 to go, and looked like John Fagan was starting to make a move up towards bronze and silver, as was Jason Harvey possibly, but that last hurdle really made a mess of it for the two of those men, and it is the Crusaders man, perhaps not who we thought would win it, who takes the title down, Matthew Behan.
He ran a very different race to what he ran yesterday. He kept his powder dry until 200 metres and came home with a wet sail. Today it was very different. Perhaps the confidence of getting around and finishing so strong yesterday made him think he can go out a lot faster, and Matthew Behan suitably delighted. This is a cruel sport, and it can be a very kind sport. And as kind as it's been to Matthew Behan today, it's been cruel to John Fagan and Jason Harvey. John Fagan would have been hoping for certainly a medal. Jason Harvey would have been hoping to win it. Anything else would have been a disappointment to him. And their 2 races came apart, but there's a whole lot that goes into running a good 400 metre hurdles, and the fences, as they say in horse racing, are there to be jumped. And when the fatigue sets in and the wind is buffeting you in the face, it's very hard to haul yourself up and over that hurdle at the speed these men go. And unfortunately, that's where the 3rd and 4th placers didn't quite manage to put their full race together. But well done, Matthew Behan. Brilliant race. You
can hit a hurdle in a good way, and that's what Behan did at hurdle 8, and you can hit a hurdle in a bad way, and that's exactly what John Fagan did at hurdle 10. Nearly, I thought he was gone to the deck, but he did well to stay on his feet and finish the race. But certainly Behan, the champion, did everything he could to win that one. And when you're gone 0.6 or 0.7 of a second quicker than anyone's gone this year, even in a limited racing calendar, there's not much more you can do than that to earn your victory.
And we should be seeing Matthew Behan back in action next week. He'll be taking on our co-commentator Ger O'Donnell in the 110 metre hurdles. So it's a big ambitious double. We've seen some treble attempts as well, but Matthew Behan will be attempting both.
Ger is also going to provide race commentary during that race, I believe. Is that
of course,
correct?
I'll be mic'd up as always. Yeah.
We should get those results very quickly for you and get official results for you in those 400 metre hurdles. Matthew Behan, the winner in that one, the surprise winner. And no results in that one yet. We're going to have the women's 100 metres as well very shortly. And then men's 100 metres, fastest men and women in Ireland, followed by the 1500 metre races then later in the programme. So
Phil Healy up next, Ireland's fastest woman over 100 and 200, and the fastest woman over the 1 lap distance in the last couple of years as well. She'll be taking on a whole host of our sprint stars up next at women's 100, swiftly followed by the men.
Yeah, it's going to be an excellent race here. You'd expect Phil Healy to be a class above the rest, but there's plenty of athletes in this one as well. Molly Scott, Lauren Roy, Joan Healy, her sister, and
Sarah Lavin, the fastest in the field on paper this year. Sarah Quinn in there also. So Lavin, Quinn and Scott have been the ones who've been showing the best form kind of mid-season, but other than that, it's going to be interesting to see. Phil Healy obviously cruised through earlier on to win her heat. Yeah,
to give you the full results there from that 400 metre final, 400 metre hurdles final. Matthew Behan 52.47, Cathal Lough, the under 23 winner, 52.75, so season's best performance from Cathal Lough in the final. Jason Harvey 53.82, and John Fagan from Clontarf 54.25. Paul Sexton in 5th with a run of 56.22. Oisin McCrory 2nd place under 23 with a run of 56.28, and Owen Sharkey, Tirconn Lacey's athlete, running 60 seconds there for 7th place.
Yeah, real cracker. We said it was going to go anyway of how many different combinations? 4 factorial. What does that add up to?
It's a pin code. That's what it is. We would not be able to figure a pin code out, and we couldn't figure out the result of that race.
And that was about as interesting as you could get. Matthew Behan, the champion, just getting an interview with RTE there, and now Cathal Dennehy is giving him his moment in the sunlight here in Morton Stadium. That'll be up on the social media channels very shortly. You can watch that interview. But Behan, the champion from Crusaders, his first outdoor national title, to add to his 2 indoor 60-metre hurdles from a couple of years back.
So in this one here, we're going to have the women's 100-metre final. Jennifer Henry, Aoife Lynch, Sarah McCarthy, Molly Scott, Phil Healy, Sarah Lavin, Joan Healy, Lauren Roy, Sarah Quinn and Jenna Breen, the fastest female athletes in Ireland, 100 metres. So
Yeah, due to get underway in 4 minutes' time here, so they're still just sitting on the numbers behind their blocks. Those numbers were blowing back towards the back fence earlier on today. Such were the strength of the winds. We were seeing -4s, -3s at best in the women's events. The men got down to -2.2 at the very best, so less than ideal conditions. And it's kind of more of a crosswind here at the minute, but it still will affect the athletes. It may not show up as strong on the clock, but it could certainly still have a hugely adverse effect on some athletes more than others. It tends to be those who are quite slight in build can get caught, or those who are quite light on their feet rather, spend less time on the ground, can get carried away by the wind a little bit more. Those who hit the track a little bit harder can get away with it.
Certainly it's going to be a superb race here. I said the lanes in the middle there, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. McCarthy, Scott, Healy, Lavin and Healy, and Lauren Roy there in lane 8 as well. But don't discount the likes of Sarah Quinn there, the under 23 athlete from St. Coleman, South Mayo AC, who I'm sure we'll see later on this week in the hurdles as well.
Yeah, certainly she's it's a strong favourite for the women's 100 metre hurdles next weekend.
We're seeing the medal presentation here. For
back down to the podium here, we can see Jason Harvey, the bronze medal. He's going to be less than happy with that, but a national medal is a national medal.
Breaking news, Matthew Behan is not running the sprint hurdles next week. He is opting out. He said after last year's nationals he thinks that's pretty much it, and he's going to target the 400 metre hurdles. He's going on holidays to Wexford now, and that's it. No sprint hurdles. So Matthew Behan is now a 400 metre hurdler.
And what a 400 metre hurdler. He's a national champion.
Absolutely.
I won't say I'm not freaked that he's not going to be racing me next weekend, because I do always love to race him, but anyway.
You were you took your top off there and threw it up in the air.
I threw my toys into the pram. That's disappointing, because he's a fantastic 110 metre hurdler and 60 metre hurdler. 785 in the 60 and 1392 on the 110s that as a young age. But look, if he's running 52 mid already in the 4 hurdles, let's see what he can do from there. Hopefully he can sneak down towards that 50 flat and beyond.
We can see Ger's the mind going here now. Look, I'm 30. What are you, 32 now?
Shut up.
Over 30, he's gone. I could get another 5-6 years out of this.
Man in his very late 20s.
Could go as far as 40 here. Why not? But yeah, Matthew Behan, that's a surprise. He may be thinking he could have come back in that double.
I would imagine if things went poorly today, it would have been, you know what, I'll give it a lash next week.
Yeah.
So things went much less than poorly for him today. It went fantastically well, and a brilliant victory for him.
Yeah, superb performance from Matthew Behan, and we should see some superb performances here in this 100 metres for women very shortly. The fastest Irish woman ever, Phil Healy, running for Bandon AC. And this one coached by Shane McCormick, fan of most movies, I believe.
Any movie with Danny Glover and, yeah. Any movie with shoulders being relocated by less than medical professionals, including himself.
That's what he loves, in fairness. I think that's actually, he watched the instructional video. He was like, yeah, just throw on Loaded Weapon 3 there.
As we said earlier, Phil dislocated her shoulder in a gym session. He had to get the old Zoom call going with the physio to relocate it back into its socket. So I hope he recorded that. You can always watch it back, home videos.
That would be superb, and showing the lengths that athletes have gone to, particularly during lockdown, when the ability to get to a physio or to the track or to any of your normal training facilities. So sometimes it was the athletes that kept their heads the best.
Absolutely, and didn't overdo it as well as underdo it. But Jennifer Hanrahan goes in lane 1 here for Tala AC. Aoife Lynch of Denore Harriers goes in 2. Sarah McCarthy in 3 for Mid Sutton AC. Fantastic performance in the long jump yesterday. Molly Scott, St Lawrence O'Toole in 4. Phil Healy, Ireland's fastest ever woman over 1 and 200. Bandon AC goes in 5. Sarah Lavin, one of the fastest 100 metre hurdlers we've ever seen, goes in Emerald AC in lane 6. She's the fastest Irish woman this year. Joan Healy of Leeville in 7. Lauren Roy in 8 of City of Lisburn. Sarah Quinn, St Coleman, South Mayo in 9, and Jenna Breen in lane 10 for City of Lisburn AC. Watch out for those middle lanes. They'll be the heat winners from earlier today. Phil Healy, lane 5. And we're cleanly away first time. Molly Scott out to an absolute flyer as she usually does, but Phil Healy's got a bit of work to get back up to her here. Joan Healy going very well as well, but Molly Scott, can she hold on for the victory? Phil Healy's coming through and she's going to take the win. What's going to happen for the medals behind her? It's going to be very, very close. Sarah Lavin with a very strong finish, 11.72 into a minus 1.7 wind. I think Lavin may have got up for a silver or bronze with Joan Healy, and Molly Scott may just have been run out of it there at the very, very end, Ronan.
Yeah, really hard to tell for that. Though even the second and third place, we'll have to wait until we get the full results on that one. I'm sure we'll see a replay momentarily, but Very hard to tell who got those minor medals, but no doubting the winner there. Phil Healy, what a run from her. An incredible performance, and great to see her running 11.72 for the win there.
Yeah, and in all that chaos, I didn't even see Sarah Quinn, because she was lane number 9 directly under the stand here where we're positioned, so I'm not sure if she came through well, but we'll get a quick replay of that anyway. Phil Healy really had her work cut out for her with the likes of Molly Scott and Lauren Roy in that one. You're always going to be up against it over the first 10 or 20 metres. See Molly Scott in lane 4 there, Lauren Roy in 8, Sarah Quinn going well in 9 there as well, but Scott really put it up to Phil Healy here from the very start, and once Healy started to pull away, Molly started to be reeled in by the athletes in the lanes beside her. Sarah Lavin with a really strong finish. If it was 101 metres, she definitely got the silver, but I'm not sure. I think Joan Healy may have just held on, but it looked like to me, Ronan, that Molly Scott got run out of the medals.
It did, yeah, and I suppose if you were given the credence to the attackers there, she was defending that second place for the last 40 metres or so. She went out really strongly. It was ahead of Phil Healy for quite a period of the race, but you'd have to say Joan Healy and Sarah Lavin finishing stronger in that one. So it'll be interesting to see did she hold on for the win in that, or for the second place in that behind Phil Healy. There's the two sisters there, Joan and Phil Healy, hoping that they both get on to the medal rostrum later on before the long trip home to Cork.
Absolutely, yeah. So minus 1.7, I said the wind, 11.72 the time. It is a bit of a crosswind. We're going to get one more look at that replay. You can see on nearest to the camera as well, Sarah Quinn and Lauren Roy having a good battle there for possibly 5th and 6th. We'll get a little slow-mo look here through this 100-metre final here at the Irish Life Health National Senior Championships from Morton Stadium. So once again, Phil Healy, the sprint queen of Ireland, dropping down to her 100-metre distance, which he hasn't been focusing on in the past while, becoming such a fantastic 400-metre specialist. But you can see here, Molly Scott, when we hit that 40-metre mark, she's still got a metre on Phil Healy, but once that strength starts to play, she can stride through. She takes a metre out of her. And Sarah Lavin coming through like an absolute train with Joan Healy. It's very, very close on the line. Molly Scott may have just... Oh, it's going to be very close to call. Not going to chance it yet because the angle that we're at is not quite the finish line, and we've seen much closer finishes than we thought earlier. In that 100 metres, it was 300ths of a second when we thought Marcus Lauder was well clear.
Miles ahead he was.
But usually what the eye tells you is right, but when an athlete is finishing strong, it always looks deceptive.
Yeah, you'd have to look at the body language there from Molly Scott and see what way that went out.
So
and
we do have a result there on that one. What is it, Ronan?
it is Phil Healy in first.
Really?
Will I read the rest?
Please do.
11.71. Sarah Lavin got second there, 11.83. And then Joan Healy looks to have got third place, 11.85. Molly Scott just ran out of it there, but wins the under-23 title with 11.85 as well.
Yeah, so thousands of a second have separated Molly Scott from that bronze medal. Joan Healy hanging on, or rather catching up to catch it. And as we said, Sarah Lavin finishing in fine form there, getting within, a tenth of a second of the Ireland's fastest ever woman as a hurdler. Is a fantastic performance. I know we've seen Derval O'Rourke compete strongly in the 100-metre flat here years ago, and that's what it takes to be a women's sprint hurdler in particular. You really need to be super fast on the flat, as Molly Scott is, as Sarah Quinn is, as Kate Doherty is, Liliana Hora. They're all fantastic sprint athletes, and that's what it takes. When the hurdles are that little bit lower for the women, they need to be really dual stars.
Yeah, you'd love to see Molly Scott over 60-metre hurdles again sometime soon, because with a rapid start there by her, and was definitely in the lead over the early stages of that race. But just to go through the under-23s there as well, Molly Scott did win that under-23 title, but 3 under-23s together in that field. Sarah Quinn, another hurdler, 11.96, and Lauren Roy there from City Lisburn AC, 11.98. So to round out that field, Sarah McCarthy then was 7th, Aoife Lynch 8th, Jennifer Hanrahan 9th, and 10th was Jenna Breen from City Lisburn as well. So you can get all those results on live.athleticsIreland.ie. So a great sprint final there for women, and we'll get a rostrum very shortly. Sarah Lavin, Joan Healy and Phil Healy on that medal podium, and very shortly we'll have the men's 100 metres. Favourite Marcus Lawler in this one.
Yeah, that under-23 title is going to be scant consolation to Molly Scott. She'd have been vying for victory outright here. She gave such a good run in the heats earlier on today as well. But as we said, conditions are a bit shocking, and you never know who's going to hold up the best with them. So, obviously wind and crosswinds, headwinds will affect different athletes in different ways. So, unfortunately, not quite to be for Molly Scott here today. Just run out of it.
Certainly, but as an under-23 with 3 seniors above her, you would expect her to continue to improve. She's been on an upward trajectory for many years now, and you'd hoping to see her go well over the hurdles and the flat.
Yeah, absolutely. Molly, an established senior as well, competing in relays and at the European Indoor Championships in 60 metres last year. But the 3 in front of her are no spring chickens in terms of international accolades either. They've got vests to fill the wardrobe at home. So it looks like an international 4x1 there if you take the top 6 in that heat or that final, certainly. So
Certainly
no shortage in quality in that women's 100 metres, and it's going to be the same in the men up next in about 5 minutes' time.
Yeah, scheduled for 7 o'clock, 3 minutes time.
3 minutes.
And you can see a couple of tops being removed there and singlets on show. So in this one, Robert McDonald has pulled out. He's a DNS, did not start in lane 1. Sean Driscoll in... He's not there, is he?
He sure is.
Well, maybe he's just going to hang around. Just got there for moral support. He knows he won't be able to get
Does
into the
not
stadium
support.
without the
kitting up.
entry. I just said I get into the final so I could see it.
If just on that, getting into the stadium, if you look at the sports file photos, and in particular one that was tweeted up by Athletics Ireland earlier, in terms of getting into the stadium, I was thinking of the old Christy Moore, you better bring your shovel if you want to go and work. It's you better bring your javelin if you want to come and watch, with Shane Aston standing on the hill watching the high jump, leaning on his javelin as Corash Farugi clears the bar. And Corash is blurred out, but Shane is in focus. It's a fantastic shot by Sam Barnes here from Sportsfile. He's doing the long shifts like us and the lads in Entry, covering every minute of these championships to bring it to you in the best possible way.
Absolutely, and what a championships it's been so far, and hopefully we'll be over even the next couple of hours, or next hour. Sean O'Driscoll, lane 2. We'll try and figure out whether Robert McDonald is actually going to be in lane 1. We can see a Galway City Harriers vest down there, but he is a DNS on our entry list. Maybe he doesn't know himself. Sean O'Driscoll, lane 2. Paul Costello, lane 3. Conor Morey from Leaville AC in lane 4. Mark Smith, the under-23 athlete, in lane 5. Stephen Gaffney in lane 6 from UCD AC. Dean Adams from Ballymena and Antrim AC in lane 7. The national indoor 60 metre champion Marcus Lawler, World University bronze medalist there in lane 8. And Joseph Finnegan Murphy, lane 9. And David Murphy, also under 23, in lane 10.
Yeah, that's going to be a really, really interesting race here, the men's 100 metres. Mark Smith is always a bit of an anomaly here when we see him in the sprints in the last couple of years, because he's on such a steep upward trajectory in his career. He's just smashing out fast times every time we see him. The tall, slim man from Raheny Shamrock, coached by Kay Bannon. We've seen a couple of his training partners here competing earlier on in the same event today. 5 Raheny Shamrock men lining out for those heats, and we've got 2 in the final with Sean O'Driscoll. Another man in PB shape this year, certainly had a good lockdown, got himself well conditioned, and he's back running fast once again. Conor Morey, the fastest man from Cork this year. Leaville AC, big strong man. Junior last year, he is...
The fastest Cork man is almost as big an accolade as fastest Irishman, let's be honest.
Well, I mean, it's its own separate country, so you have to give it its rightly dues.
National record for Conor Morey.
But they've got Marcus Lawler to deal with. They've got Dean Adams, national indoor champion, to deal with. He's in PB shape indoors. He is absolutely flying it this season. And certainly if anyone's ahead of him at 10 metres, then they're going to win this race. Marcus Lawler can be a little bit slower out of the blocks in the 100 than he is in the 2. But when it comes to that 50 metre mark, he's going to storm through. It's a lineup full of men who are well capable of going sub 11 seconds, depending on the wind conditions here. McDonald, O'Driscoll, Costello, Morey, Smith, Gaffney, Adams, Lawler, Finnegan Murphy and David Murphy. And we are away and clean, and Dean Adams is out very well, but Stephen Gaffney's right up there with him. Mark Smith has a lot of work to do, as does Conor Morey, and Gaffney is storming through with this one. Gaffney's going to hold on. He's going to be the national champion. He dips over the line. He celebrates wildly, as he should. 10.64. Stephen Gaffney for UCDAC is the national champion, and he does it in style. Very, very close again for the minor medals there, Ronan. Not that there are anything minor about them in such a hotly contested race, but Stephen Gaffney makes it all the way around to the 150, 180 mark, and well he should. 10.64, minus 2.4 second wind. His PB is 10.54, so that is certainly a PB run if he could put that wind on his back. But that is fantastic work, as we said, coached by Stuart Hogg there, who has guided Paul Hession to our national records over 1 and 200 metres, but he is doing nothing wrong with Stephen Gaffney, and like we said, the national long jump record holder Ciarán McDonough has been keeping a close eye on him for years, as well as a mentor and a helper, and is still in that role. But what a performance there, Stephen Gaffney, his first national senior title, and what a way to do it.
Yeah, an incredible performance, and he absolutely dominated that field in the end. After that 50-meter mark, he stormed away from that field, and a high-quality field it is. We're just going to see a replay here of that last 50 of the whole race, in fact. You can see just lane 6 there, that is the winner, Stephen Gaffney. Dean Adams out strongly there in lane 7, but Gaffney powering away from this field. Mark Smith, a little slip of a man there just on his inside, but Gaffney from about 50 metres out, storming away from the field, and Marcus Lawler coming strongly in those last few metres, but just left himself with too much to do. But Gaffney, a dominant performance.
Absolutely. I think maybe Smith and Lawler would have held on for the medals there. I think Dean Adams just been run out of it, as was Conor Morey from the angle of that video anyway. But wow, that was really, really impressive from Stephen Gaffney. I said if anyone was up with Dean Adams at 10 metres, then they were going to win that race, and I think it was Stephen Gaffney. Looked to be ahead nearly at the 15-metre marker, 20-metre mark here in Morton Stadium. We've got lines on the track at 100, we've got lines at 75, at 80, and once those markers were hit, it certainly didn't look like Gaffney was behind at any stage. Here we can see the last 50 again. He's away and he is clear, and he keeps his composure really, really well. He can tense up the odd time, Stephen, in races when it comes to towards the latter stages, but he did the Usain Bolt there instead. Throws the arms out, and right he should. What a way to celebrate, and what a fantastic achievement for the man from UCDAC.
Yeah, I think there's a strong chance that Dean Adams, you were right, was ran out of that one. You could just see just slightly behind here, and we have he wasn't, in fact. He's held on. Stephen Gaffney, 10.63 for the win. Marcus Lawler, 10.79 for second place. Dean Adams, 10.81, just ahead of Mark Smith, also given 10.81, but consoles himself with the Under-23 title. Conor Morey, then 10.85. Paul Costello, 10.96. Sean Driscoll, 10.99. Joseph Finnegan Murphy, second place Under-23. 8th overall with 11.06. Robert McDonald then 9th with 11.08. And David Murphy, 3rd place in the Under-23s, 10th overall with 11.27. So Mark Smith getting ran out of it there. We really thought that was Dean Adams by the angle we were at, but just shows that even being a metre or two off the finish line here, you really can't tell for sure at those tight angles.
Yeah, so once again the bronze medal is decided by thousandths of a second here. So the technical officials and the finish line camera really being worked to its nth degree. But that was really, really fantastic performance, Stephen Gaffney. He's been blighted with injury over the last couple of years. He even had a hamstring injury just 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago down in Carlow for that race. So he's recovered himself really well from that. He's a physiotherapist by trade, and also training as a computer scientist, I believe, at the minute, or programmer. So he's kind of switched career, but he certainly knows how to get his body back into good shape after setbacks. And what a run there from the big man from UCDAC into a minus 2.4 wind and around a tenth of a second off his PB. That's really fantastic running there. And rounding out the medals, Marcus Lawler 10.79, and Dean Adams coming back from that gold medal indoors over 60 metres to take the bronze here with 10.81 from thousandths of a second from Mark Smith of Raheny Shamrock.
Yeah, Dean Adams just hanging on there to add to that title, but I'd say he'd be quite happy to pick up that bronze medal there, particularly as it was so tight against Mark Smith. But what a high quality field, and what a performance to win it by Stephen Gaffney.
Yeah, Timmy Crow making a good point there, saying that Stephen Gaffney almost ran 200 PB there as he continued on across the line and around the bend.
I think that he just couldn't slow down. He was just moving that fast, but I've seen him run a couple of 200s as well. He certainly has a strong finish, but he got out so quickly in that. He said, Dean, if Claire Wilkinson's is our high jump measurement, then Dean Adams is the measurement for good starts, as he is probably over the course of the last 10 years the fastest starter in Ireland.
Yeah, unless it's a false start, Dean is the best starter. So he is the fastest man to 10 metres that I've ever seen in person. He's had Jason Smith for companionship up in Belfast for a couple of races this year. It's a pity he's not here for this championships as well. But Jason is obviously a fantastic starter as well. But certainly here in the stadium today, Dean Adams, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that could get out ahead of him, but Stephen Gaffney left him nothing to play with there. He really, really put it up to him from the very, very start and ran away from the field.
Dean Adams is so quick, he already has his car out of the car park.
He does, he's gone. He's back in Belfast. He's going across the Mary McAleese Bridge as we speak, taking a boomerang for Adam McMullen.
So some fantastic performances there, and hopefully in this women's 400 metres here we're going to see another fantastic performance. A really good field here in this one. So 2 400 metre races to come, and then the 1500 metres to finish off the programme.
Brendan Glynn is tuning in there from Galway. He's giving us some praise, Ronan. We'll always
Glyn's
take praise.
Yeah.
All praise is welcome. He has had competitors in both of those 100 metre finals with Rob McDonald and Sarah Quinn. So Brendan's stable of athletes over there in Galway City Harriers, and NUIG are really coming to the fore as the West is awake, and there's a force to be reckoned with there with the sprinters coming from the West. And if you can deal with the elements in Galway through the winter and as a sprinter and Dangan track with no shelter, then you're doing very, very well when it comes to summer.
4.8 wind.
Exactly. A light breeze.
4.8 wind.
But a light breeze wouldn't even ruffle their hair. They're made of steel.
Yeah, great. They're all going home. Great conditions today in Santry, wasn't it? Lovely.
Glorious.
Lovely.
Summer up. Sure, it's summer up there.
What summer?
Once they get out of IKEA and Decathlon, they'll be home in no time.
Well, if they stop going to those before the competitions, rest the legs. This 400 metre sprint, we're going to have Daniela Janssen from Finn Valley, Amy Doherty from Ratoath AC, Sinead Tracy from Crawwell, Sophie Becker from Raheny Shamrock, Rachel McCann from North Down AC, Gráinne Moynihan from West Musgrave AC, Laura Nally, the under 23 athlete from Galway City Harriers, and Victoria Lightbody from City of Lisburn AC.
If you go onto the live.athleticsIreland.ie, you can also obviously get all the results from the 3 sessions yesterday, the session earlier today, and today's session. But on the sprints, you can also see the photo finish pictures, which are quite interesting. You can see how Dean Adams' dip has just outdone Mark Smith for that medal. His shoulder is what will cross the line first and cause that mark, but they're really interesting photographs to look at for those of you who are that way inclined.
He's gone for the almost Adam Kishot 800 metre style finish there by launching his shoulder towards the finish line.
Yeah, throw the shoulder, and Carson Warham does the same. So when you're crossing the line, Chris O'Donnell tends to do it as well, actually. And Zach Irwin, it was the first man in Ireland that I seen it, almost a front crawl swim action as he crossed the line. But the women's 40 metre finalists are behind their blocks.
Lane number 4, 3, 4 and 5 and 6 would be our most likely winners in this one, but Sophie Becker certainly in lane 4 from Raheny Shamrock AC would be the massive favourite in this one. Fastest in the field, fastest this season in Ireland, and has the optimum lane draw there in 4.
Yeah, Nessa Mia, as we've seen, winning the 400 metre hurdles just shortly ago. She's the second fastest on paper, but not in this event. She ran 55.01. Becker has run 53.9 this year, so outside of that, we're looking at Rachel McCann as the second fastest on paper this year, and Gráinne Moynihan with a good run in the heats as well behind Sophie Becker. But it's going to be very, very close for the medals here. But if Sophie Becker runs to potential, she should be away and clear in this one, a la the women's 400 metre hurdles with Nessa Mia.
Yeah, you'd expect so. But certainly plenty of good young athletes in this one as well. Could spring a surprise. And I said Gráinne Moynihan come back from years of injuries there as well, and has picked up a few medals over the years when she's got herself right. So potentially in a very good shape here. Could spring a little bit of a surprise here. Rachel McCann there in lane 5 as well, the North Down AC athlete. Full lineup: Daniela Janssen, Finn Valley AC, Amy Doherty, Ratoath AC in lane 2, Sinead Tracy from Crawwell AC in lane 3, Sophie Becker the favourite in lane 4 there in the white strip with the green trim from Raheny Shamrock AC, Rachel McCann from North Down AC in the yellow, West Musgrave AC is a Gráinne Moynihan out there in lane 6 in the blue and green, the blue and orange. Then Laura Nally, the under 23 athlete from Galway City Harriers there in the white strip in lane 7 with the red trim, and Victoria Lightbody there in the colours of City of Lisburn AC there out in lane 8.
Yeah, full 8 lanes here. As you said, Sophie Becker the favourite in lane 4, Rachel McCann in 5, going to be one of her main rivals, and Gráinne Moynihan in 6 of West Musgrave AC. Daniela Janssen there in lane 1 of Finn Valley, coached by Dermot McGranahan, RDO for that region, doing a great job with her. She's going to have 7 athletes to chase outside her here. And Victoria Lightbody in lane 8 of City of Lisburn is going to have to run her own race here as these athletes start to go by her once the stagger unwinds. But we are cleanly away first time here, and Becker is out to a good start, as is Moynihan. They're leaving McCann a little bit at the minute, but McCann runs her own lane and she tends to come through very strongly towards the end. So Becker is right up in McCann at the minute through the 100 metre mark, and it looks like she is away and clear. Moynihan striding out down that backstrap where they'll have the tailwind. McCann is just using Becker at the minute, holding that gap, not letting the stagger unwind any more than it has to, and she's coming through a little bit stronger now. So through the 200 metre mark, 25 seconds on the clock, and it is McCann coming back strongly at Becker through 250. Moynihan is well up there as well. So these three look like they're going to hold on for the medals as it stands. Sinead Tracy, Crawwell AC having a good run too, but Becker, it has 3 metres on the field as it stands, and McCann is just starting to fade a little bit with Moynihan coming through very strongly. But Sophie Becker has 5 metres of a lead here at the minute. Gráinne Moynihan is coming through very strongly. What's it going to be at the end? It's going to be very, very close. Becker is going to be edge towards the line here by Grania Moynihan. It's going to be a very tight finish, and it looks like Becker's just going to hold on with the dip. 54.09, a fantastic run from Grania Moynihan there in silver medal. Rachel McCann in bronze. As I said, Grania Moynihan has been a bit of an unknown entity here previously at national championships. She's come up and done similar things to that, had fantastic performances to get medals, and she nearly had sprung a big surprise on Sophie Becker there once again. Has a look of shock on her face. I think she struggled a little bit in that 100 metres run in when she realised how close Grania Moynihan was to her. Rachel McCann put them under early pressure, especially between 150 and 250 in that race. Didn't give them any more than they had to. But Grania Moynihan, what a fantastic run there in second place. But the champ from Raheny Shamrock, new club for Sophie Becker, and now the national outdoor champion to add to her indoor title. First national senior medals for her in the gold category, and she takes both of them this year.
Yeah, and impressive from Sophie Becker, especially in that last 50 metres for an athlete that, as you said, has never won a national title before. You could start to tighten up over that last 40 metres when you've had someone on your shoulder, but held on just for the win ahead of Grania Moynihan, who, like another Cork lady over the years, Derval O'Rourke, is a fantastic championship performer and can rustle herself into shape here in Morton Stadium. And third place then was Rachel McCann from North Down.
Yeah, just back over to this podium presentation as we see Dean Adams and Marcus Lawler have their bronze and silver medals, but the champion UCDAC Stephen Gaffney, what a way to win it. He was away and clear. We thought it was going to be a very close race, but once he got out of his blocks he wasn't letting anyone get that title. So first time national senior champion Stephen Gaffney, the 100 metre title, 10.64. What a performance that was. We'll get a quick look back at that 400 metre women's final there. What an exciting race that was. I'm sure we're going to see something similar in the men's, but we thought Sophie Becker would be away and clear at this stage, but Grania Moynihan really had a fantastic performance there. You can see her there 2 lanes outside Becker. The strength that she uses to come home, obviously had a great couple of months there in terms of training and conditioning, and the strength she showed. If it was another 5 metres, perhaps she would have nicked that title, but a really classy performance from her, and hopefully we'll see more of the likes from her this time next year and across next summer, possibly the indoor season. Rachel McCann, another brilliant run from her, take the bronze medal for North Down AC. Sophie Becker, the champion of Raheny Shamrock.
Yeah, and potentially we could see some more surprises in this final. I know Chris O'Donnell is the raging hot favourite, but plenty of athletes who are well capable of stringing a good performance together here in this 400 metre final. And in particular for the minor medals, second and third, we could see a serious battle between a lot of athletes who are around a similar standard. Took a lot to get through to this final yesterday. Had to break 50 seconds to get into this final, so it's going to be tough. We've got the women's 100 metre presentation coming up here now as well. So I said Molly Scott just missing out on this podium by 1,000 of a second. Both 100 metre finals incredibly tight for that third place, but 2 dominant winners, Stephen Gaffney and Phil Healy. Third place athlete here is Joan Healy. Just here on the podium is Joan Healy getting a bronze medal. And Sarah Lavin, the Emerald AC athlete, just opening up that present corner. What's this? I got a bit of post today there. Oh, a medal, a silver medal in the 100 metres. Didn't expect that. So they've all gone for the pre-opening of the presents. It's like opening your presents on Christmas Eve, like some sort of European.
Yeah, never a fan of that tradition that you see in some households, but look, each to their own.
Yeah. Joan Healy there, bronze medal. Second place, Sarah Lavin, picks up her medal there and goes, well done, Sarah Lavin, and gives herself a medal. I'm going to buy myself a medal on the way home.
You probably should. Yeah.
And Phil Healy has won another national title here. She's getting onto the rostrum, the Bandon AC athlete.
Somebody will tell us how many national titles she has, but
multiple.
Every national title is a special one, and Phil Healy confirms her status as Ireland's fastest woman. Nobody faster ever over 100 metres or 200 metres, and she's certainly one of the fastest over 60 and 400 metres alike.
And one of the most humble. I was trying to wind her up on the way in. I said, you're going to win, aren't you? And she goes, oh, no. I said, come on, Phil.
Swiss Army knife of Irish sprinting.
Would refuse. She's far too humble, but what a champion, and multiple champions national titles at this stage for Phil Healy, Joan Healy and Sarah Lavin rounding out the medalists there.
Yeah, kitted out nicely in her Joma gear as well as Marcus Lawler, recent signing for Joma as well. So nice to see.
Say it?
Joma.
Yoma?
Joma. Joma.
I have no idea.
So the old Spanish supplier, which is now Athletics Ireland's official kit sponsor as well, so good to see them getting behind our Irish athletes now. They had Phil signed up prior to that deal with AAI, but they've got Marcus in now, so that's good that they're giving some support to our Irish sprinters, and I'm sure there'll be more athletes getting similar opportunities with them in future.
Yeah, I'm sure ours is just there must be a delay in the post there.
I'd imagine any day now they're going to call.
They need to get Georgina down delivering. She's delivering a lot of medals today, so maybe she might deliver a bit of kit to the lads.
Carrick AC have had their Joma kit for a long time now in this stage, so we were
early proponents of the Joma.
The forerunners of the old system, and it's our Spanish roots, I believe, the Armada-esque.
Yes, Spanish Point.
Kit.
Is it within 500 miles?
Ish.
Why not?
But we are stacked full of finals here this evening. We've already seen 5 in fact, and we've got 3 more to go. The men's 400 metres, followed by the men's and women's 1500 metre finals. Carl Denny just getting a few words with Phil Healy down below, and he'll be catching Sophie Becker shortly as well. He would have had Stephen Gaffney there for a chat also. So the Athletics Ireland social media channels is where you'll find those interviews. Do tune in and forward them on to people that you'll think will enjoy them, and send this link around, our YouTube link, Athletics Ireland TV, to anyone who is looking to tune in. And also across next weekend we'll be back for similar action, 2 sessions each day. I won't be here on the Sunday, unfortunately, Ronan. I'll be elsewhere, below on the track.
We'll
hopefully
interview mid race.
Why not? I'll have the roaming mic clipped to my lapel, but I will be here on a Saturday for a bit of chit chat and build up.
And we must say, on what other channel besides the Athletics Ireland YouTube would you get the Irish Sports Journalist of the Year 2019 interviewing Ireland's fastest woman?
In a long sleeve Columbia jersey.
Yeah. No other channel. Absolutely none. So stick with us here on the Athletics Ireland YouTube channel. Just for all the action. Non-stop, 4 days, everything covered.
Just going to check what the official start time for this men's 400. It's certainly due to go very shortly. 2 minutes. 2 minutes time. In fact, I could just smell it in the air.
Yeah. There was tense
anxiety. You could cut it with a knife. The lights have been turned on here in Santry. The clouds will start to descend shortly, and that men's 1500, certainly the last event of the day, will be under dusk. But for now, the men's 400, they've got daylight, there's hints of sunlight, there's blue skies covering half the stadium, but the wind is still howling. As we've seen, that men's 400 metre hurdles was certainly a quick one, regardless of the wind and conditions. But how will this affect these men in the 400 metre flat?
Certainly in this, you've got Jack Manning there, the under 23 athlete in lane 1 from Kilkenny City Harriers. Eamon Wallace from Atote AC in lane 2. Christopher O'Donnell, the pre-race favourite there, the under 23 athlete from North Sligo AC. Cathal Crosby then from the under 23 from Ennis Track AC in lane 4. Jamie Mitchell then, the Emerald AC athlete, also under 23 in lane 5. Paul Murphy from Ferrybank AC ran very well yesterday. Andrew Mellon then from Crusaders AC in lane 7. And Jamie Pender, also under 23 from St. Albans in lane 8. So the favourite Christopher O'Donnell there in the blue shorts, kind of navy shorts, red and white North Sligo AC top number 311. He has ran the fastest time this year. He's the only man in that 46-second range, and he is looking to run away from this field.
Yeah, Chris O'Donnell, the class act in terms of season's best, certainly, but Andrew Mellon is a 46-second man at his best. He goes 3 lanes outside, 4 lanes outside, in fact. He's behind the corner of the wall here. I need to move my position, but...
Yeah, and Mellon is not... his first 400 metres of the year was yesterday, so certainly hasn't shown his cards yet over the 400 metre distance, so it could be a serious battle here between lanes 3 and 7.
And I wouldn't be discounting anything in between. So Cathal Crosby, the national indoor champion, with a 47-second performance. Jamie Mitchell there in lane 5, a really accomplished athlete as well. And Paul Murphy getting back into really good shape with a mid-48-second run here. So Chris O'Donnell, by right, should be running away with this one. 46-16 so far this year. He's well clear of the field in terms of season's best, and also PBs if they're all in good shape. But everything is up for grabs here, and we are cleanly away. And O'Donnell storms out of the blocks. He didn't quite get out very hard yesterday. He cruised around in a 47 or 49-second rep, but Crosby is going hard. Mitchell's going hard. Murphy is just cruising a little bit. Mellon in lane 7 is absolutely storming down the back straight. It looks like Chris O'Donnell has gained as much as he can on Cathal Crosby at the minute, and he's going to start to go by him here at the 200 metre mark. But Mellon is away and clear out in lane 7. It's going to be a very, very interesting last 100 metres here for Andrew Mellon, as he's going to hit a 300 metre PB, I'd imagine. Paul Murphy going very well there too in the Ferrybank vest. and Cathal Crosby in the red of Duneen is going to have a lot of work to do, but Chris O'Donnell comes through the 300 metre mark just ahead of Andrew Mellon. Can Mellon hold on here and give O'Donnell a bit of a sweat? But Chris O'Donnell is going to streak away here now. Paul Murphy's come through very strongly. Can he catch Andrew Mellon for that silver medal? But it looks like O'Donnell is going to just hold on. He's going to fall across the line from Andrew Mellon, and Paul Murphy with his national senior bronze medal, his first outdoor medal as a senior athlete, and he has to be happy with that. 47.15 on the clock. That's a huge season's best for Andrew Mellon, and I'd imagine Paul Murphy may have just gotten an outright PB for himself, and if he has, that's a real redemption story from as an 18-year-old running 47.60 indoors, breaking his foot, missing out on the chance to go to the European indoors on that relay, and here he is 5 years later. He walks away on the bend with his hands on his head. I don't think he can believe how well he's running.
Yeah, it's been a championship of comebacks, and what a comeback that was from Paul Murphy to get a bronze medal there, and as you said, potentially a PB. Andrew Mellon, though, fantastic performance. Really put it up to Christopher O'Donnell there. They looked just to the naked eye to come through in 34 seconds there for 300 metres, which is absolutely flying it. As you said, potentially PB shape there for those boys through 300, and then struggling up the home straight then in this wind. But a fantastic win there for Christopher O'Donnell, the pre-race favourite, a win in 47.15.
Yeah, similar to Sophie Becker in the women's. We thought Chris would have it fairly handily to take the title if he ran to his best, but Andrew Mellon really put it up to him there, didn't let him have an inch to 300 metres, and then O'Donnell just used that little bit of strength as he came down through the home straight. But the wind, as we said, and the conditions really playing havoc, but certainly no problem for Andrew Mellon and Paul Murphy to run huge season's best, if not personal best for Paul Murphy. Mellon, I would imagine, very close to one of his fastest times ever there with a 47.3 or 4 perhaps, but we can see here as we come through the 300 metre mark, it looks like O'Donnell just has it there by about a half a metre from Mellon, and as we come down the home straight, Paul Murphy is working his socks off there. Cathal Crosby is out of it at this stage, he's way back, but Paul Murphy struggling up towards Andrew Mellon, and Mellon was closing like a train as well on Chris O'Donnell. I thought maybe 5 metres out that O'Donnell may lose his legs and end up falling over ahead of the line and maybe doing a Harry Purcell style jump as he did last year to secure his silver medal. But O'Donnell the champion, fantastic run there from Mellon in silver, and a brilliant run from Paul Murphy of Ferrybank AC for the bronze.
Yeah, so we've got the full times up on this one, the full results. Christopher O'Donnell, under 23 winner as well, with a 47.12 performance. Andrew Mellon, 47.35. Paul Murphy, 47.64. So I think that's just outside his personal best. We'll just check that one. But what a result for him to get that bronze medal. Cathal Crosby went out very strongly as well there from Innistrack AC, 48.38. To be consoled with that silver medal in the under 23 category, and Jamie Mitchell then in 5th, also under 23, gets the bronze in that, 5th overall, 48.46 from Emerald AC. Jamie Pender then also under 23, St Albans AC, 48.57. Jack Manning then, Kilkenny St Harriers, 49.72, and Eamon Wallace rounding out the field there from Ratoath AC, 49.83. So all the athletes under 50 seconds in that.
Yeah, really great running there to have everyone under 50 in such conditions here today in Morton Stadium after more tough running in the heats yesterday as well. And Eamon Wallace there in 8th place, he's had a fantastic season. Like, I mean, he'll be disappointed with 8th in the national final, but he's run a whole host of sub 50 second races. I think he had a sub 49 indeed up in Belfast to beat Craig Newell, but he's another man on a return to form after a long absent period. He came back last year, but he was of course playing football for Meath in the Leinster Championships and beyond for the last couple of years, so he's back into really good shape, and it's always great to have athletes competing for as long as possible. He's obviously a really good athlete and really enjoys the sport.
Yeah, tremendous performance there. 5 athletes as well under 23 in that final as well, so 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th all under 23, so really impressive there. Just good young blood coming through.
Yeah, 47.62 is Paul Murphy's indoor PB, but that's most definitely an outdoor PB for him.
Certainly, and we'll see the finish to this one. Mellon out there in lane 7, O'Donnell in lane 3. They look like the two most likely carriers. Paul Murphy there, though, in the green and white of Ferrybank, coming through strongly here. Chris O'Donnell, as you said, looked like he was almost struggling here with 50 metres left to run against that wind, but that wind put paid to everyone's chances. Mellon running really strongly, and Murphy finishing strongly as well. But what a run there from Chris O'Donnell for the win. Yeah,
Jamie Mitchell with a really strong finish as well, almost catching Cathal Crosby, the national indoor champion, down in 4th place, but no doubting the winner. He held on nice and strongly, kept his composure. It can be somewhat misleading coming into a championships when you're so far clear as the season's best athlete, when the likes of Andrew Mellon, who are serious contenders every other year, haven't actually run a race yet. you may think or get caught up in thinking that you just have to complete the race and you have it won, but certainly not there today. It was hard work for every millisecond of that race.
Yeah, and you can see how much harder work it was as Andrew Mellon is using the second place rostrum there to hold himself up, and Paul Murphy has just consigned himself to I'm no longer going to attempt to stand up.
He's taking the low stool.
I may stay here all evening. So a tough race, the 400 meters. You can see he's Paul Murphy's up now. He's recovering. The joy of an outdoor PB and a bronze medal there is made him feel a lot better. You also notice that if you win the race, you never see the guy who wins the race panned out in the ground.
Certainly not for the first while. The adrenaline kicks in for a little while and then it's collapse. I've seen in the women's junior 5K yesterday, I'm not sure the girl's name who won it.
Holly Brennan.
A fantastic race there, and when she crossed the line she rightfully got down and slapped the track and she smiled and she pumped her fist and she was happy out, and then 10 seconds later it was collapse because she realised, oh no, I'm absolutely dead here. But that adrenaline kept herself going for a little while longer, and thankfully she got a chance to celebrate wildly first, and then the old adrenaline wore off and physiology kicked in and left her panned out. But why not? When you've won, that's all you need to do.
Exactly.
So if we just have a look at the podium here for these three men getting their national senior medals here in Morton Stadium at the Irish Life Health National Championships for 2020. Cahill has returned. He is flat out up and down these steps here. He's getting his workout in. He's going to have some glutes on him tomorrow after all those stadium runs.
Yeah, three-time world media champion as well, Cahill.
Indeed, yeah.
He has the medals on him at all times, so if you ever meet him, just ask him, can you see him?
Yeah, and of course in a couple of years' time he's going to be possibly the World Masters Media Mile champion.
It's getting closer with every passing day.
It is indeed, so that's something to look forward to for Cahill, and certainly for us who will be tuning in.
When we move out of our late 20s,
absolutely,
it'll be a good one for us.
Yeah. Paul Murphy, bronze medal. What was the time again, Ronan? 47.82?
In true Georgina Trump style, it's 47 something. No, 47.64.
47.64. So as we said, just 2/100ths of a second outside his outright PB from 5 years ago indoors. So a fantastic race there from Paul Murphy. Brilliant to see. Andrew Mellon, 47.35 in second place, one of his fastest times ever. And Chris O'Donnell, 47.12 to take the title here at the Irish Life Health National Senior Championships. And also the under-23 champion, Colin Crosby, will pick up silver in that, and Jamie Mitchell the bronze. But that is a real fantastic 400 metre run there from all three men in this race. Just to go through the times again: in fourth, 48.38 Crosby, Mitchell 48.46 in fifth, Pender 48.57, so really close between those three for fourth back to sixth. Then Jack Manning with another good sub 50 second run, 49.72, and Emma Wallace 49.83 just behind in eighth place.
Yeah, fantastic performances there. Women's 1500 metres next up on track, and that is another fantastic race. The record of Sonia Sullivan earlier on, 3:58, survived a run from Ciara McGeehan in the Stockholm Diamond League. So it's already broken two of her records this summer. Not to be today.
That race due to go off in 1 minute's time, Ronan. So
certainly is.
There's no time to catch your breath here in Morton Stadium at these Irish Life Health National Championships. This is the final session of this weekend. Just the women's 1500 to go, followed by the men's, and then we will be back next Saturday morning, bright and early, to get started with session 7, 8, or 6, 7, and then 8 and 9 on the Sunday. So if you keep an eye on all the Athletics Ireland social media channels, you'll keep up to date with the timetables for those. And obviously all these YouTube streams will be on the Athletics Ireland TV channel, as all of yesterday and this morning's sessions are.
Certainly, and to give you that feel, Michelle Finn, Leavell AC, won the 5K yesterday. She's tripling back. The 1500 metre is her second effort here. Cheryl Nolan from St. Albans AC, Maisie O'Sullivan from St. Albans also, Denise Toner, Isilda Donald from Haney Shamrock, Fiona Keogh, Amy Haid, Amy O'Donoghue, Ellie Hartnett, Carly Sweeney, Annette Quaid, who first competed internationally in 1994. If you can even remember that back that far, for most people who are listening. Niamh Carr then from Springwell Running Club then as well. Great finish she had yesterday in that heat. So there's your full lineup. Michelle Finn, as I said, national 5K champion, hoping to win this one against the likes of Amy O'Donoghue, Isilda O'Donnell.
It's going to be an intriguing battle here, and these winds, it's still gusting quite strongly there with illegal, I suppose, winds blowing around Morton Stadium. Be interesting to see if anyone is willing to do the John Travers on it and take it out. And it looks like Michelle Finn is happy to assume that she's really blown through the first 200 metres there, or been blown by the tailwinds down that back straight, and she is taking this on. She's going to make this a test of strength.
She certainly is. Michelle Finn, the Leave LAC athlete there out in front. She is a training partner of Isil O'Donnell, just on her right-hand shoulder there. So those two athletes possibly chatting before the race, trying to get in after 200 metres here. They're motoring quite well, 34 seconds, 68 second pace, 4:15 for 1500. So it is very quick here so far. Amy O'Donoghue there in third place, probably the pre-race favourite, one of the best kicks in the race. Cheryl Nolan just behind her, and then Ellie Hartnett and Amy Haid, young Amy Haid there in sixth place.
Yeah, Isil O'Donnell is slotted in there on the shoulder of Michelle Finn. Could do well to take some cover there and perhaps slot in behind her, but perhaps she's going to lend a hand here and make this a real test. They do a bit of training together as part of the Dublin Track Club, both the Dublin-based athletes. Michelle is now based in Dublin mostly as opposed to her usual Cork base, but she has gone through the first 400 metres in about 68 seconds. So as Ronan said, it converts to about a 4:15. She has taken this out strong, and she's going to use her endurance to put the mockers on everyone here. Whoever's going to take this gold medal is going to have to go through Michelle Finn.
Certainly, she's going to make it hard for these athletes here, and she's stringing this out. But in fairness, in a fairly metronomic style, she's not gone out incredibly hard here over 200 metres. She's actually gone out quite steady over that first 400 metres. Isil O'Donnell, I said, slotting in there nicely into second place, better known as an 800 metre runner, and she has been ripping it up on the curtailed circuit over 800 metres this year. Amy O'Donoghue, though, probably Joe Warren-esque in her ability to snuff out medals and titles here in Martin Stadium. And then Ellie Hartnett, the UCD athlete there, just on her shoulder there in fourth place.
Yeah, Cheryl Nolan fifth on the inside, outside of Nick Quaid, and then Maisie O'Sullivan as well. Look out for her kick, but it's going to start winding up probably in another lap's time. But Michelle Finn has made this a test. It's not going to be a big kick here. Whoever's going to be kicking, it's only going to be a slight change of gears because they're already moving at a very good pace. It's a diluted strength field this year, but there's a lot of quality in there, and there's some big kickers, notably Amy O'Donoghue. Ellie Hartnett always closes fast. Isil O'Donnell has excellent 800 metre speed. Michelle Finn does not have the acceleration of many of the athletes who are in her slipstream at the moment. She knows she has to go hard. She has to break these athletes. She has to drop them like bowling pins over the next lap because she won't be able to outkick them. If she's going to win this, she's going to outlast them.
Yeah, that was a 73 second lap there from Michelle Finn, so it has slowed somewhat, but you expect as you come around into the straightaway here, it's going to be 500 metres from home, and you'd expect Michelle Finn to throw down a surge here and try and bring Isil O'Donnell with her somewhat. Amy O'Donoghue there in third place. There is a little bit of a gap growing back there to Maisie O'Sullivan, who has an excellent kick, and the likes of Fiona Keogh as well, better known as an 800 metre runner, so a little bit of a gap growing there, but Ellie Hartnett taking closer order and coming up onto the shoulders into this home straight. Amy O'Donoghue somewhat boxed in there in third place. Isil O'Donnell and Michelle Finn still leading this one out.
Yeah, Michelle Finn, you can see the fatigue is starting to show. She's 3 times she's had to run into that gale of a wind up the home straight. They passed through the bell in about 3:16. It's probably going to be around low 4:20s. It's a good championship paced race here. It's gone strong from the start. Isil O'Donnell looks absolutely poised there on the outside. The wind's going to be on their back down this back straight. Amy O'Donoghue has sat quietly in third. She's such a good operator in this championship setting, and she has fantastic acceleration. And look for the dark horse. Ellie Hartnett has coasted through the fourth place there. Can she mount something and get past these top 3? Michelle Finn, as it's been from the outset, she's tried to break everyone. She's broken all but 3 athletes, and those are Isil O'Donnell, Amy O'Donoghue and Ellie Hartnett. And Isil O'Donnell takes over 200 to go, but is Amy O'Donoghue ready to strike running?
Amy O'Donoghue here, 150 metres left to run. She's on the shoulder of Isil O'Donnell, better known as an 800 metre runner. It's going to be a serious battle up this home straight. Michelle Finn looks done, back out in fourth place after leading early on. Ellie Hartnett in third, but Amy O'Donoghue striding purposely into the straight. She is storming away from this field. The early pre-race favourite is home and host here up the home straight. Isil O'Donnell trying gamely to hold on for second place, and looks like she's going to Ellie Hartnett, going to get bronze there as Isil O'Donnell cuts in on Ellie Hartnett. It's going to be a serious finish there, and it looks like O'Donnell just holds on the line to Ellie Hartnett. Amy O'Donoghue a clear winner in 4:21. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out there with O'Donnell and Hartnett just over the line. The national 5k champion Michelle Finn, who made all the early running, ran out of it there, fourth place, but hoping to come back in the steeplechase next week. Good finish there in the end. Amy O'Donoghue, the class of the field. Yeah,
class of the field, and a great championship operator. Even when she's up against athletes sometimes with faster PBs, she manages to beat them in this setting because she brings it when it comes to game time. She's a clutch performer, and we saw it there. Did absolutely nothing, as she was right to do for those first 3 laps, drafting in behind the leaders. And she was there. She covered the move of Isil O'Donnell with 200 to go, and then made her own move. As Eamon Coughlin says, one move and one move only. She launched it with 150 to go and no answers from the field.
Yeah, an incredible performance there, and a real racer's performance. She said so little energy used over those first 3 laps, and the only time Amy O'Donoghue went anywhere near the lead and ran any more than she had to was going around Iseult O'Donnell with about 180 metres left to run. Watch back that race and see that Amy O'Donoghue did absolutely nothing for 3.5 laps almost.
A model of efficiency, you'd have to say.
We're
We'll tee up the last 150 there, because we'll have a few moments before the race. We anyway have all been looking forward to the most of the men's 1500 final to close out proceedings. However, see Amy O'Donoghue launches out in lane 2, runs around. You can see immediately, as soon as she goes for broke there, she's put about 5, 6, 7, it's probably 10 metres by the finish into Iseult O'Donnell and Ellie Hartnett. A great scrap there for a second. Iseult O'Donnell moved. Ellie Hartnett was coming home fast. Iseult O'Donnell into that wind. She felt the pressure on her inside, and you'll see here she just kind of put the arm out and kept her running line and tried to close that door.
Certainly, and you can see the wind playing havoc there up the home straight. Iseult O'Donnell normally has an excellent kick finish, but looks to have held off Ellie Hartnett. But it'll be interesting to see the results on that one. And Michelle Finn, who did all the early running, and you'd have to think that Iseult O'Donnell as well, perhaps running maybe a couple of metres extra throughout that race by sitting on the shoulder of Michelle Finn. But the two of them together probably closed the door on any of the other athletes in the race until Amy O'Donoghue brought out that kick finish there with 150 metres left to run.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent stuff altogether. Brilliant run. And one race only remaining in session 5 and day 2 of the Irish Life Health Track and Field Championships. And it is the men's 1500. When it comes to quality, when it comes to quantity, when it comes to, I guess, the tactical battle we might see, this for me is the most intriguing race of these championships. And there's so many storylines at play within this race. And none better, we'll try and pick him out there, than Paul Robinson. He's striding down the back straight there in the white St. Cocos singlet, looking absolutely majestic there in white spikes. 29 years old now is Paul Robinson. There he is, and he has had a torrid time of injuries. Those who watched the heats yesterday, we ran through it briefly then. But since 2014, and since he was really marginally denied a medal in that European Championships, he's had an awful time with chronic foot problems, but he has stayed the course. He is back healthy this year, put together his best block of training in years, and he is here in contention for a national senior 1500 metre title. But it's not going to be easy running.
Certainly not. Yeah, he ran very well over 3,000 metres here at the Steigen 3K meet here on the track, but he was beaten that day by Sean Tobin, who's in this race as well. And Robinson, a 3:35 performer at his best, and a 1:45 800 metre runner, and he's hoping to bring that championship level performance to these championships today. Johnny Wannon there as well, 3:46 from Clonliffe Harriers. He's going to be up against it today. He's been ripping it up on the domestic circuit, but Sean Tobin and Andrew Coscoran sparingly raced. Sean Tobin 4 minutes in Moyne at 13:53 in the Dublin graded meet for 5k recently, so a strength based athlete and hoping to push this field to their limit over 3 3/4 laps. Andrew Coscoran 3:37 indoors and in very good shape at the moment, a 3:56 miler at his best, and he is at the star of the CAC athlete, and he'll be hoping to match up against his indoor national title that he won earlier this year. So plenty at stake here. A couple other athletes in this one as well that would be notable. Evan Keane had a fantastic finish yesterday in some of the early heats. Neil Johnson in this one as well, a 3:48 performer this year, and ran 8:11 for 3k as well, so in very good shape. The athlete from North Down, in the likes of Andrew Milligan as well, very good finish as well. He could be one to watch maybe for the minor medals or the placings 4, 5 and 6. He had a very good finish yesterday, at 1:51 performer at his best for North Belfast Harriers. And as well, Cian McPhillips, the young athlete from Longford, a incredible performer, 17-year-old who's ran 3:44. So he has a serious kick finish as well. So those four athletes, Sean Tobin, Paul Robinson, Andrew Coscoran and Cian McPhillips, are the most likely medalists.
But we've seen so many times it hasn't played out to form. Most of us wouldn't have thought Matthew Beacon would be lifting the gold medal. I suppose he didn't lift it, put it around his neck today, but lifting the title, and he did. He upset the odds, the newbie in the event, and we've seen youth dismantle the established order in John Travers, with beaten by Darragh McElhinney in the 1500 metres. So will we see something similar here from Cian McPhillips? Could he possibly outrun the seniors at the age of 17? It would be an outrageous performance if he could.
It certainly
but
would.
He is certainly gifted enough to produce a performance against the odds.
And we see the medal winners here in the women's 1500 metres. Ellie Hartnett there in third place. Iseult O'Donnell just holding her off there, getting the silver medal for Raheny Shamrock AC. And Amy O'Donoghue atop the rostrum from Emerald AC with the win.
So we're all counting down. The last few strides have been done by our men's 1500 metre runners. Another man I'm sure who would love to be here but cannot due to the recent Sport Ireland rules around drug testing and stuff is Kieran Leonard, who returned to form. Well, I wouldn't say form, but returned to racing in a sense last night over in the US, doing some pacing. And it's great to see him making that comeback. And I'm sure Kieran Leonard, if all stays well with him and his health over the next 12 months, will be here contending with these lads for a national title. And hopefully that mission to Tokyo, and I'm sure some of these lads we're looking at here will be on their way to Tokyo, fingers crossed, this time next year. Andrew Coscoran is already on the cusp of qualification. He's just outside the ranking system, but if he can continue to put those 3:37 1500 metre performances together over the next year, the Balbriggan man will be off to Tokyo. Sean Tobin as well. We don't know what event really he's going to specialise on over the coming years, but it's a testament to his talent, how accomplished he is across so many events. Sean Tobin, he really is an outstanding performer. Will he take it out hard though, Ronan? That's the question. Yeah,
you'd expect him to. The man who was second at the last two national cross-country championships and was disappointed to be second in both of those. So you can tell that he is a strength-based athlete. Was entered in the World Half Marathon this year and is now dropping down over the 1500 metre distance. So you can imagine that's 13 times less than he was going to run back in March.
The full lineup for the men's 1500 metre final: Joe Warren, Evan Keane, Paul Robinson, Andrew Milligan, Andrew Coscoran, Keane McPhillips, Neil McCartan, Keith Fallon, Tyg Donnelly, Johnny Wan, Sean Tobin and Joseph Hastings. We have two under 23s, Evan Keane and Andrew Milligan. Both unleashed big kicks yesterday to finish in the top two. Can they do the same? Evan Keane even kicked past Paul Robinson, but Paul Robinson, the savvy championship racer that he is, kept his powder dry. So it'll be interesting to see if he does the same, or if he has that stalking tactics here. He is a big kicker, Paul Robinson. They're just been told the nerves on the start line probably made even worse there. They're told they have a minute or two. It's 2 minutes before the off call. Poor start. Paul Robinson has stolen the march. Warren has gone the other way.
Oh, controversial.
33. Everyone else strode off down the back straight. Joe Warren just went, I'm going to go my way. And that's a testament to Joe. Pioneered a barefoot running back in the day and an excellent academic and researcher in the area as well. And Joe Warren knows all about physiology and sports science, and he knows here, granted, you can show up with the best physiology and the best talent, but you also need a whole lot of psychological fortitude to bring it home in an arena like this. And who's going to have that today?
Yeah, Joe he probably might mind just saying it, but we'll say it anyway. We know Joe for many years, but Joe, I wouldn't say he's in the shape of his life here, but he's managed to rustle himself into a national final, and he will finish as far up as his ability allows today. He is one of the best racers in the country, and will finish well up this field ahead of guys who may beat him in a paced race at the moment.
It's a fascinating battle this is going to be. I cannot wait for this race. It's great to see all the lads taking each on. A lot of them train together, of course. Sean Tobin, Andrew Coscoran, and Paul Robinson. Paul Robinson now coached by Nick Bideau, but he rose in with the Dublin Track Club a lot. Sean Tobin and Andrew Coscoran both coached by Phelim Kelly, the Dublin Track Club. It's great to see that team ethic, I suppose, and rivals working together, because ultimately these lads may be racing each other, but they're all trying to be their best and they're all trying to represent Ireland with pride on the international stage, and they are off in what I consider the race to the championships. And it looks like it could be a slow one, Ronan.
It does at the moment, but we'll see how it plays out now over the next couple of 100 metres. Joe Warren leading on the inside, and Tobin has gone. It's not slow anymore. Who's going to follow? He's already got a metre, 2 metres. Coscoran and Warren there in second place. Robinson just behind that, but all that pre-race chat about Tobin being the strength athlete, well, he's going to make this a strong running race here. Coscoran in second, Johnny Wan then the domestic athlete here who's been ripping it up in third place from Clonliffe Harriers, and then fourth place there is Paul Robinson.
I absolutely love this tactic from Sean Tobin. He has thrown caution to the wind, and it literally is a wind he's running in here. Sean Tobin has taken this on 43 seconds, 44 as he goes to 300. It's going to be a sub 60 first lap. We haven't seen this all too often in nationals, and he has laid down the gauntlet here, and it is his training partner Andrew Coscoran who has done the field a favour, and as the race favourite really, he has stepped up on behalf of the field and towed everyone back. And Paul Robinson will be saying thank you very much for doing that, and Coscoran, you chase down Tobin and I'll try and come over the top and outkick you. They went through the first 400 metres in about 59 seconds.
Yeah, Tobin said to the rest of the field, you may beat me today, but you're going to have to bleed to do it. He has gone straight to the front here, and he is towing this field to a serious time here. He's got at least 50 metres on the rest of the field. Coscoran there is still leading that, so it's basically leading the second pack and going into the win for all those athletes. Johnny Wan there in third, and Robinson is taking closer order there in third place. Tobin, not known for his kick, although he did out-kick Coscoran in the Moyne Mile, but he is flying away from this field, and this is an incredible front-running performance, a brave performance here from Sean Tobin.
Sean Tobin is an athlete made of iron. He's finished 10th in a European cross-country over 10 kilometres, and he is up against these more speedier milers in behind who have deferred to him really over the first 2 laps. It's not an outrageous pace. Some of them should have been able to go with this. I think Andrew Coscoran tried to, but honestly I don't think he can. Sean Tobin passes 800 metres in about 1:58, and out of the pack, Paul Robinson, back from the dead in his career, has come on. He said, no more, I am going after you, Sean Tobin. I may train with you, I may like you, but I want to beat you. This is my national title to win. It's been 8 years since Paul Robinson won the national 1500 metre title, and he wants a second one after all he's been through.
Yeah, 550 metres left to run here. Tobin is flying away from this field. It's 15-20 metres back to Paul Robinson, and another 15-20 metres back to Coscoran. There's the 3 training partners, 1, 2 and 3. It may not finish in that order. Johnny Wan then in fourth, and Cian McPhillips, young Cian McPhillips in 5th place running gainly. Andrew Milligan just behind that, but the real action is up the front. Tobin is starting to be caught slightly by Paul Robinson, who still looks in great shape. Coscoran in that second group there, leading that out. A lap to go, 2:44 on the clock.
2:44 on the clock. It's going to be some time. It's the equivalent of a sub 4 minute mile they're about to run in a gale force conditions. And right now it's the hunted and the hunter. And Paul Robinson is the hunter, the St. Cocos athlete. He stayed the heck out of Kildare for the last few weeks to be able to participate here. He was training in Sligo. He was training in Dublin. Sean Tobin's gone out so hard. And Paul Robinson looks to be sitting pretty with 2:50 to run. Does Tobin have anything left in the locker? He always comes home hard. It's about 30 metres back to Andrew Coscoran. Johnny Wan coming out of the pack is going to challenge him for bronze, but this is all about the gold medal race. Paul Robinson has been through so much. 2 athletes at different ends of their career at the moment, but both locked together as they turn for home. Tobin and Robinson, Robinson and Tobin. Paul Robinson out on the outside of lane 1. He has the speed, but Tobin might have the strength. Neck and neck, shoulder to shoulder. Who's going to get it? Paul Robinson looks to have it, but can he last? Tobin's coming back on the inside. Robinson or Tobin to the line. Can't separate them. What a race.
What an incredible run there by the 2 athletes. Coscoran getting up for third, with Johnny Wan in fourth, Cian McPhillips in fifth, Ty Donnelly in sixth, Milligan and Keane battling it out for seventh. But what an incredible performance. It looked like Robinson was going to blow by with 80 metres left to run, but Tobin, the strength athlete, tried to hold him off. We didn't know at various points there we're going, hey, he's won it. And over the line, the 2 of them collapsed. I couldn't tell you who was after winning that one, but they won it in 3:43.91.
I have no idea. I'm just watching back a replay here. I have no idea. I think Robinson might have it.
It looks like Robinson's just got it on the line. We're going to see a replay of that. And Tobin congratulates Robinson. It looks like we're going to see the result coming up shortly. We have the replay here. You can see Tobin on the inside lane. They're holding him off, and around into the lane of high hopes is Paul Robinson. He's working his way up the home straight. Tobin trying to hold him off. Robinson looked like he was going to storm away from here over the last 50 metres, but Tobin, the strength athlete, he works back, and the 2 athletes getting ready to fall over the line together, and Robinson falls. Tobin holds himself up.
Left everything out there. What a race. I'm speechless at the quality of that effort. The 2 men went to the absolute depths. Paul Robinson, the champion, the comeback king, and he roars. He lets out a massive roar in a quiet Santry Stadium, Morton Stadium. Paul Robinson back on top 8 years after his last title. I am delighted for the 29-year-old from St. Cocos.
Yeah, they might as well call him Lazarus. He's back from the dead. Many years of pain and many years of trying to work his way back into this kind of shape, and he wins this national title at 3:43.91 against Sean Tobin. And 2 men, 1 man made that race, Sean Tobin, from the front, from the start, and Robinson gets him on the line.
He got him on the line. He stepped up. He made the perfect time he came out of the pack to make that move. And Paul Robinson, he's a champion for a reason. And that was a champion performance. He stepped up, he sat back, he coasted the first lap, conserved his energy, but he recognised the danger. You cannot leave an athlete like Sean Tobin out there on his own. And when he got a certain amount of distance, Paul Robinson, okay, no more. We're going to start chasing like the Tour de France. We're going to slowly start reeling in. He got it back to him, and he was smart. He waited. He didn't try to blow by and put the nail down and let Tobin draft on him. He stalked Tobin until that home straight, launched his kick for all it was worth, and of course Tobin, a man made of iron, a Clonmel man who's been to the US and back. Paul Robinson, a product of the Irish system, went to DCU, spent a lot of time in Melbourne. Rob Denmead developed him up to a European final as he spent more time in Australia. Nick Bideau took over the reins with his coaching. Both of them have done a brilliant job in getting him. But more than anyone, Paul Robinson has done a brilliant job of himself. He'll be thanking Gerard Hartman. He'll be thanking his brother, his dad, everyone who's been part of this story for Paul Robinson. They'll be screaming at the TV down in Kildare. It was 2/100ths of a second between them at the end, and what a race to close out the coverage. We'll tee up a slow-mo finish for you here so you can enjoy it, because this is just incredible. You can see Robinson, how much he wants it. He's dipping for the line 10 metres out, leaning. And he leans for all he's worth. Is Sean A. Miller-Weibo, when she won the Olympic title, face to the track. Paul Robinson is the hero of the day here in Santry. A hero among many heroes.
Yeah, an incredible performance, and great to see him back. Ger, as a man who's thrown himself over the line in a 110 hurdles race.
Many times.
What did you make of that?
That was good. It was okay. Yeah, that was fairly insane. Now I was down on the 50-metre mark on the home straight, and the lead just changed 2 or 3 times before they got to the line. I think Sean Tobin had the gold medal around his neck until Paul Robinson fell over, and the fall gave him the win. As Denner's just mentioned there, I was saying it to somebody down trackside, Sean A. Miller-Weibo style. Sean A. Miller-Robinson crosses the line for the victory by virtue of having nothing left in his legs. He goes horizontal and takes the title, and Sean Tobin, with all that hard work, is going to be absolutely sickened. He did about everything he could, and he regained the lead again with 30-40 metres to go. But Jesus, what a run from Paul Robinson, and what a redemption story, as they say, to get that national title. He almost did it indoors a couple of years ago against John Travers, but the outdoor title is going to be all the sweeter now with that 3:43.91.
Yeah, it was a bit like Buzz Lightyear there. He wasn't flying, he was falling with style, and
Certainly
he fell over
was.
the line for the win.
Yeah, the St. Cocos man is going to be absolutely thrilled, and you can hear the roars. I'm not sure if they were picked up by our in-stadium mics here, as he exasperatedly celebrated that victory. It's kind of an eerie scenario in here when they're roaring and shouting with glee and joy because of the lack of crowd. It just kind of echoes around the place, and everyone's looking at each other a little bit awkwardly, but nobody can fault Paul Robinson for that. What a race between himself and Sean Tobin.
No, and he's very well liked athlete as well, Paul Robinson. He's been around the circuit for about 10-12 years now as well, operating at a very high level. So he's an athlete that a lot of other athletes have got to know over the years, and different scenarios, under 23 championships, national seniors and Europeans competitions. And he's an athlete that a lot of people would have loved to see back here competing, let alone winning. And he has won a national senior title. 2 and 3 were Sean Tobin and Andrew Coskren. So great performance. Keep your comments coming into the live stream there as well. Yeah, and as well as the performance, it's one of Paul Robinson's fastest time in years as well at 3:43. So fantastic to see him back in action. Yeah, you can see how well liked he is. James Nolan messaging in there on the live stream. He says he is risen and he is Lord, which is slightly blasphemous, but I suppose totally appropriate. Absolutely, he's the saviour of the track and field here today. We left the best till last in terms of excitement and drama, certainly with that fall finish. But Paul Robinson is the national champion here for 1500 metres at the Irish Life Health Championships. Yeah, and what a way to end it. Yeah, so we'll be wrapping up commentary here with the Entroy lads, and thanks to the Athletics Ireland TV YouTube channel, and thanks to everyone else for tuning in over the last 5 sessions, 2 days of action here. We'll have another 2 days next weekend coming up hot and heavy from Saturday morning right through to Sunday evening. Myself, Ronan Duggan and Cathal Denny will be back in action again for that. So thanks again for all your comments and likes and shares for this stream, getting so much traction on it. I know you're all sitting at home tuned in and glued to it because you can't be in stadium with us, and we're the fortunate ones here. But thanks to the lads at Entroy once again for their Trojan work, 12-hour shifts both days to get this live to you. Yeah, and make sure you can also click back on all those races on YouTube and on the Athletics Ireland coverage pages on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. You can watch a lot of these highlights, click back and watch your races over and over again. Absolutely. Thanks again, and see you next weekend. Cheers.
Many of us are balancing looking after our families with working from home. It's not always easy. Whatever changes you're facing, big or small, Irish Life Health can help you embrace them. Our Healthy Mind service includes 24-hour professional counselling support, and it's available on all our hospital plans. We know Irish Life. We are Irish Life Health. Many of us are balancing looking after our families with working from home. It's not always easy. Whatever changes you're facing, big or small, Irish Life Health can help you embrace them. Our Healthy Mind service includes 24-hour professional counselling support, and it's available on all our hospital plans. We know Irish Life. We are Irish Life Health.